Hello and welcome to the Clarets game live, coming to you from Turf Moor as Burnley take on Crystal Palace, a game that's always produced excitement and high drama down the years, and this one's going to be no different this afternoon, I'm sure. 20 goals have been scored in the last 5 Premier League meetings between the sides here at Turf Moor, so we could have goals guaranteed. Let's hope Burnley come out the right side of the result here today, and I'm sure Kevin Benson will be listening in from New Zealand to find out. Anyway, let's check the two lineups with Tom Heaton in goal for Burnley, then it's Phil Bardsley at right back, James Tarkowski and Ben Mee, the two centre backs, with Charlie Taylor now the established left back, and then it's Henrik on the right of midfield, Jack Cork, and one change from Wednesday, Ashley Westwood comes in for Johan Berg Gudmundsson, and Dwight McNeil plays on the left. And the terrible twosome up front, Ashley Barnes and Chris Wood, both on the score sheet last week against Tottenham Hotspur. As I say, one change from Tuesday rather than Wednesday. Ashley Westwood is recovered from his illness, so he missed the Newcastle defeat. And on the bench we got Hart, Lowton, Gudmundsson, Brady, Gibson, Crouch and Matty Vidra. And Gudmundsson in fact drops to the bench for that game. Let's look at Crystal Palace, who beat the Clarets 2-0 earlier on in the season in December. Wayne Hennessy is their goalkeeper, the Welsh international. It's Wan-Bissaka at right back, Scott Dan and James Tompkins in the centre, and Van Arnold will bomb down the left back slot. Then it's Max Meyer on the right, Mirejevic the captain, and Chieti are the two central midfielders, with Jeff Schrupp, formerly of Leicester, on the left. And it's Michy Batshuayi on loan from Chelsea, and Will Sahar, the pacey man, up front. So no place for Andros Townsend in the 11 who starts on the bench. It's Guaita, Ward, Townsend, Ayew, Benteke, MacArthur and Kelly. So a decent enough bench there for Roy Hodgson. But this is going to be a tricky one for Burnley. Can they keep Batshuayi and Sahar quiet? That will be the question on everybody's lips, certainly of a claret and blue persuasion this afternoon. Scott Dan there as well. Let's have a look at the two managers I'm seeing over there embracing. Palace have only won 1 in 10 visits to Turf Moor. That was that 3-2 result in January 2015 when they came back to win 3-2, having been 2-0 down at one point in that particular game. Chris Wood with 10 goals in all competitions this season. Ashley Barnes closely following with 9 goals. 19 goals between them this season, Wood and Barnes. They were characteristically off the mark on Tuesday night. Mind you, most were the Burnley team. I think they did miss the emergence of Ashley Westwood, really, because Gudmundsson just couldn't get into it at all. McNeil didn't have a good game at all, and it was really tough. Even though Newcastle did score a couple they did score a worldie through Fabian Schär, there's no doubt about that. But Burnley need to bounce back. 5 points above the drop zone. A win would potentially take them to 33 points, and another win and a draw maybe would be enough for Burnley if they were to get the result, as the referee Lee Probert from Wiltshire gets Burnley up and running, with Westwood taking the kick off, and Burnley as always in this first half are attacking the goal to our right hand side, which is the cricket field stand, as Chris Woods tries a shot from just to the left of actually Barnes rather tries a shot from just to the left of the penalty area, about 25 yards out, and it goes into the cricket field stand behind Wayne Hennessy's goal, and it goes behind for a goal kick to Crystal Palace. So Palace are in the white shirts, just a distinct. Wayne Hennessy wearing an all orange goalkeeper outfit. Lee Probert from Wiltshire, just to tell you, is the referee, and this really is going to be an humdinger of a match, there's no doubt about that. Burnley won the corresponding fixture here by a goal to nil in September 2017, a game decided by a 4th minute goal from Chris Wood after a mistake by Lee Chung-soo. A back pass that led to the goal scored by Wood, and then the other notable thing was that Tom Heaton got injured in that match and had to be replaced by substitute goalkeeper Nick Pope, who proceeded to have a terrific match that afternoon. I seem to recall. I remember being there on the day and revelling in the saves that Nick Pope actually made in that match. Anyway, Burnley with 1 minute 21 into the game have a free kick just inside the Palace half. Crystal Palace attacking the Jimmy McElroy stand in the first half to my left hand side. And of course I will be checking up on the comment section, and I just want to say a big shout out to Chris Whiteman, Mad Claret 94. He is He has been a little bit low profile, but he will be back on YouTube hopefully sometime in the near future, as the ball is swept in there. Ben Mee trying to get a touch on from that free kick, and it was hooked away in the near future as the ball, and it was knocked away once again. And now a chance for Barnes to flick that on, and Barnes will get a second opportunity. Flicks it out towards Dwight McNeil, who's absolutely been a revelation this season. We'll keep an eye on the comment section as well, just in case one or two of you do want to tune in. I have it on my mobile phone, and we'll read any comments that come throughout during the course of the game, and of course JB Man of the Match will come into operation in the second half. Also at the end we'll also bring you a full classified check at around about 5 o'clock, and hopefully bring some interviews as well from today's Premier League games. In the early kick-off, in case you didn't know, or you came in very late this afternoon from shopping or whatever, it's finished to 1-1 at Wembley between Tottenham Hotspur and Arsenal. Penalty apiece. Arsenal took the lead for Aaron Ramsey early on, held it until the 74th minute when Spurs got a penalty. Harry Kane scored that penalty. 2 goals in the last 3 games for him since returning from injury. And then Arsenal got a controversial late penalty late on in the piece, and unfortunately Aubameyang proceeded to have that penalty saved by Hugo Lloris, and they also had Torreira sent off as well right on the stroke of full time. But 1-1 in the North London derby, the spoils shared there. Meanwhile, it's Crystal Palace here with Van Aanholt on the left hand side. 3 minutes 30 almost gone. Palace looking to get involved in their first attack of the afternoon here, and it's Wan-Bissaka now over to the far side. Here's Wilf Zaha, and he's going to be a tricky little customer. Has got a bit of a reputation, and he's somehow managed to twinkle toes his way into the penalty area, but there was too many Claret shirt defenders in the way. But he does come up with some of a bad reputation, because he has been noted for diving. So Burnley really need to stay on their feet, not dive in and risk giving a penalty away against Wilf Zaha. But he does have that little bit of a villainous streak about him. Huddersfield fans will testify when they played Huddersfield earlier on in the season. But if Burnley can take advantage here this afternoon and take 3 points, it takes the pressure off for a trip to Anfield next week against Liverpool, who are gunning for the title. They've got the Merseyside derby to come tomorrow afternoon. Kick off around about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm told. Here's Schlupp now, and that's a poor ball by Jeffrey Schlupp, and that's gone out of play on the far side. Roy Hodgson, the manager, I'm sure you've got a hot reception from all the Clarets, knowing that he managed the other team down the M65 for quite a number of years. Ray Lewington, former Watford manager, is his assistant, as he was in the England job. An England job that ended so disgracefully with defeat to Iceland, you may remember. I remember covering that game 3 years ago, and it was one of the most less enjoyable experiences I had in watching an England international, or even commentating on one. As the ball comes forward now towards Chris Wood, the New Zealand captain, he holds the ball up well, tries to flick it on to Henrik, and he's somehow managed to find Henrik. Westwood now controls it, gets it out to the left. Taylor now looks to get a cross into the penalty area it goes, knocked away by Van Aanholt, who almost scored in his Sunderland days from 25 yards a few years back. Has got a very good shot on him, as we all know. Last time we covered Palace on this YouTube channel, they comfortably beat Spurs to go through to the quarterfinals, go through to the 5th round in the FA Cup. They also negotiated a tricky little tie a couple of weeks ago against Doncaster Rovers. And we're just having 1 or 2 technical faults with the footage, so we'll keep it going. But we're now back live with the action, and it's Henrik chasing a long ball, and it's out of play for a throw-in. As I say, you're welcome to use the chat. Just the one game today, no late game for us today. We were hoping to get CW back in, but he's busy today, so we're just concentrating on the one match today, and we'll bring you the late coverage of tomorrow's Merseyside derby as well. So here's Wayne Hennessy then, with the goal kick for the Eagles, their nickname. They won the last 2 games Crystal Palace in the league against Burnley, albeit at Selhurst Park. They won 1-0 in January 2018 and won in December by 2-0. It was probably one of the most comfortable 2-0 wins you'll ever likely to see all season, to be quite honest, as Barnsley intercepts quite well, picks out Dwight McNeil. What a great prospect he's been. And Burnley with 1 defeat in 9, looking to try and keep that run going. 33 points is the target for if they win today and they hit that. Then I can't see them really being caught. They probably will need another win and a draw really, just to make absolutely sure. As we go towards 7.25 minutes gone, it's Burnley 0, Crystal Palace 0 in the 3 o'clock Premier League offering. Here's Bardsley infield to Westwood. Back to Phil Bardsley once again. Nice ball out to Henrik. On the turn now to Westwood, and Westwood gets a good cross in, and almost. I think he might have even clipped the crossbar and gone down. I think Hennessy may have got a touch as well, because Westwood is walking over to the far side there. And this is the way Burnley are coming there. And yeah, I think Westwood might have got a flick. I thought for a moment he might have hit the crossbar as the cross came in from the right. It gets a little deflection. That's what takes it away and gives Burnley the corner. I didn't see the deflection from the naked eye, but I mean, in a replay, it was a deflection as the corner comes in towards the near post from the far side, but it's nodded out for a throw on the far side to Burnley, level with the Palace penalty area. Burnley 0, Crystal Palace 0. 8 minutes gone. The Clarets game live from the Clarets game live. Burnley against Crystal Palace taking place at Turf Moor this afternoon. We've gone 50 games now, 50 commentaries on YouTube this season, commentated by myself, Chris, and Russ as well, whose Leeds team are back in the ascendancy now in the Championship title race. Meanwhile, there's a free kick given against Burnley for a foul there. I can't tell who it is. Number 8, Chiati, has gone down in a bit of a heap. Let's just see what happened. Well, Court won the ball. He only had eyes for the ball. Lee Probert was no more than 5 yards away, and so that there's a dangerous bit of foul play. He only had eyes for the ball though. That's my beef with that, I suppose. Jack Cork, not impressed with the decision there. Neither is Sean Dyche, and I've got to agree with both of them there. And the Burnley fans showing their disapproval towards the Wiltshire official as well, Lee Probert. Remember, against Southampton, they weren't happy about certain decisions in that game from a certain Anthony Taylor, who gave two controversial penalties in the North London derby today. So it can be swings and roundabouts sometimes, I suppose. As we go past the 9-minute mark now, in fact we're 9.5 minutes into the first half here at Turf Moor, and it's still 0-0. Just in case you've joined us late, no real clear-cut opportunities, just that half a chance for Westwood as he's crossed in towards the right-hand channel. Free kick to Burnley. There was a bit of a push and shove. Well, Jeff Schrupp is the guilty party, tries to appeal his innocence, but I've got to be honest, I think the referee this time was right. As Burnley now gets on with it, and that looked a foul there on Cork. I think the referee tried to play advantage, and he's pulled it back as soon as McNeil got into a dangerous shooting position. Well, I think Lee Probert there was a little hasty to blow there. It's definitely a free kick, but I think he should have let play on. If you're going to give an advantage and Dwight McNeil gets through, surely you've got to give the advantage to the attacking team. Surely. I mean, Burnley will take the free kick, no doubt. It is a free kick for a foul caught by Milivojevic, but surely, if McNeil's through, surely that has to be an advantage there to the attacking team. You've got to play advantage. Anyway, and Dwight McNeil was going through as well, which was the harsh reality now. So a free kick now from about 25 yards. Central, will it be McNeil to take it? He's a fearless young kid, I tell you, for 19 years old. Manchester United rejected him as a youngster. Ashley Westwood is the other one. Will he hit that with his right? McNeil might be the favourite left-footed. He gets it up and over the wall, but he can't dip enough, and it goes over the bar. But you just wonder, really, should Burnley have had an advantage there? It wasn't the best free kick. In fact, it was off target as well. But I feel that Burnley should have had an advantage there. And as soon as McNeil got through on Hennessy, the referee decided, for reasons only he will know, decided to bring the play back for a free kick. I honestly think Miljevic should have got a booking as well for that. I think the serve should be in the referee's notepad as well for that. But anyway, 0-0 it is with 11.5 minutes gone in the first half. Here's Bardsley now knocking it back now to Tarkowski. Tarkowski to me, halfway inside his own half. Virtually untroubled at the moment. Tom Heaton with no real shot to save so far in the opening almost 12 minutes of the first half. And now here's Jack Cork now on the right hand side, on to Phil Bardsley now for Burnley. Bardsley turns back and now finds James Tarkowski. Tarkowski goes back to Ben Mee. Ben Mee now just takes possession, and Burnley just look to break nice and slowly here from the back, and they get a long ball up there towards Ashley Barnes, who got the winner here a week ago against Tottenham, which more or less ended their hopes of the league championship, as Henrik tries to get Phil Bardsley in. Ball was way overhit, and Bardsley, even with his limited pace, did really well to even try and get to the byline to try and keep the ball in. And he also managed to hurdle the LED advertising holdings, and the wind is certainly blowing about there, as I'm just seeing a picture there of the Burnley flag above the Bob Lord stand on the far side, and it's going to make conditions really, really difficult, I feel, this afternoon. But Burnley coped admirably well against Tottenham. There's a Palace player gone down, and Ben Mee is well within his rights to carry on, and then it was Batshuayi who gone down for a second and then got up again. I don't understand the mentality of some of the foreign players. They go up and thinking, they roll around 8 times as if they've been shot. Anyway, we'll talk about that in a minute, because Charlie Taylor went on a very good sortie down the left-hand channel and got across towards the Palace penalty area, and could have ended up being something there for Burnley, but instead it came away for a Burnley throw-in, which they've taken now, and they've got Tarkowski on the halfway line, and he now feeds Westwood, and Westwood to get a nice ball out to the far side again, and Taylor now he's been flagged offside, I think. If it has been offside, I think that's a little bit of a harsh decision, but anyway, still 0-0. The question I would have to ask people, should Dwight McNeil have been given the advantage on the free kick which actually Burnley got? That's the question I would be asking at the moment, because it just feels as if we've come to a stage where we've seen referees play really good advantages, and then you see referees like Lee Probert try and you want to see advantage played whatever you can, but I felt there was an advantage there to be played. There just certainly wasn't, and only Lee Probert himself will know. That is for sure. As the long ball is hooked forward, header won there by Tompkins at the back, and Scott down as well too. And they're going to have a handful with Wood and Barnes up front, there's no doubt about that. As the ball is flicked on there by Jeff Henrik, and now Miljevic to get the ball forward. Nice little touch there by Will Sahar into the path there of Kiati. Back to Will Sahar again, edge of the penalty area, looks to take on Taylor. Will Sahar across the face, backing stride by Shop, and it's an own goal of Phil Bardsley. It's an own goal by Phil Bardsley, and it's gone Crystal Palace's way. Oh, what a tragic start. 15 minutes gone, it's Burnley 0, Crystal Palace 1, and Burnley have been caught on the sucker punch. The work was all to the pace of Will Sahar, the crossback, Schrupp knocking it back, and Phil Bardsley there. He hadn't a chance, to be fair to the lad. He just seemed to cannon off him, and it just hit him and gone whizzing past Tom Heaton and into the net. It's an unfortunate one really for the Clarets. It's a goal that Palace on the balance of play have barely deserved, but well, sometimes it goes, sometimes it doesn't. Poor Phil Bardsley will be very disappointed, I'm sure, about that. And Burnley now, if they're going to keep their 4-match unbeaten streak at home going, they've got to come from behind. Phil Bardsley, the unlucky man, after 16 minutes to score the own goal. That really puts the Clarets in a little bit of trouble here. But remember, they trailed against Fulham and came back, so anything can still happen. Here's Jeff Henrik on the right hand side. Can Burnley hit back straight away? Comes to Cork. Cork now finds Westwood deep inside the Palace territory. Now Taylor to get a good cross into the penalty area. Burnley must react as positively and as comfortably as they possibly can. Henrik gets the cross in and gets a little deflection which favours Wayne Hennessy. There's a little bit of a free-roller type cross, but that's a harsh bit of luck there for the Clarets, who had certainly been the better side in the opening exchanges of the first half, and then to concede an unfortunate own goal like that. Nothing that Phil Bardsley could have done, and it just seemed to come off the back of him and whiz in the net. It's just one of those you can't unfortunately avoid. And Palace get the rub of the green, and they lead by a goal to nil. On balance of play, barely deserved really, but here's Will Sahar, or Kiati now, as he comes up against Charlie Taylor, who's made that left back slot his own really in recent weeks, and that looked a very harsh decision against Chris Watt. I thought the Palace player was playing for a free kick, Miljovic. I think he went down a bit too easily there, the Serbian. I have got to say, oh dear me, get up. I don't like that sort of play acting. It was play acting. I'm sorry, Miljovic has got a free kick under very false pretences. Burnley 0, Crystal Palace 1, a lead that Palace barely deserve. And they should have Miljovic on a yellow card, and Burnley should have had a goal really if Lee Probert had used his brain and actually allowed Dwight McNeil to have the advantage which he should have been entitled to. Burnley 0, Crystal Palace 1. It's a poor way for Burnley to. I think it's very cruel on the Clarets really. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Own goal from Phil Bardsley. Not a lot he could have done about it, Phil. There's no doubt about that. But Palace now, Roy Hodgson, 1 goal to the good. They barely deserved it though, in my opinion. Here's Kiati now for Palace. Ball round the corner, and out comes Ben Mee to cut it out, and now Taylor back to Ben Mee. Burnley just need to keep patient. There's still a long way to go in this game. Let's not forget that. And poor old Tom Eaton, no save to make, and he could barely do anything about it. Bardsley just wasn't. It was just a case really of wrong place, wrong time for Bardsley. It was right place, wrong time, I should say. I mean, he was in his position, and then it just seemed to come off the back of him. It just flows in the net, and sometimes that luck can go for you or against you, and I suppose it went against Burnley on that occasion. Here's Cork now to Dwight McNeil. Can Burnley get an equaliser straight away if they can? They'll take a throw-in though. A throw-in about 5 yards in from the corner quadrant on the far side. Now, can Burnley get back into this game? Abu Wan-Bissaka, I don't think it'll be long before he gets international recognition. He's a very good right back by trade. As Westwood wins the ball really well into Barnes, couldn't get it out of his speed, gets a deflection now, and Burnley win a corner. Better from Burnley, encouraging signs for the Clarets as we go past the 19.5 minute mark. Burnley have done all the battling, and full marks to Westwood for winning that ball and getting Barnes into an half a chance opportunity zone there inside the penalty area. Now it allows the big men Tarkowski and Mee from the back to come forward. Tarkowski, who missed 2 glaring chances on Tuesday against Newcastle, has now got a chance to really make amends. Westwood to take the corner. There's a swirling wind, remember, here at Turf Moor as the ball comes into the area, and Hennessy didn't really do too well, and there was no foul on the goalkeeper, and Burnley there were very close there. Westwood with a real teasing corner that had a little bit of dip on it, and it caused Wayne Hennessy some problems. Here's Bardsley to get the ball into the penalty area, and this is going to be another foul there against Ashley Barnes this time. Scott Dunn, I think Palace are getting away with 1 or 2 freakish decisions here as that comes in. Actually, to be fair to Hennessy, despite the fact that it troubled him somewhat, I think this is actually a good pour on it. To be fair, he got a good hand on that. To be fair to the Welsh goalkeeper, he did really well. Oh, you got to give him his fair dues there. And it's Hennessy with the 3 kick now for Palace. Harshly given in my opinion, but 1-0 it is to the Eagles. On balance, very, very richly undeserved, as Batshuayi gets the ball forward, looking to find Will Sahar, and then the ball is laid back, And Tom Heaton now. What Burnley can't afford to do is go 2-0 down, especially before the break. They must get the next goal, the Clarets, I feel. If they can get the next goal, they just got to go back to how they played against Fulham, when they just kept on plugging and plugging away and not panicking, and they got their rewards, albeit through, I think one was an own, two of them were own goals originally, but Henrik got the goal a week later. And they need something similar now, I believe. But wait a minute, here's no, he can't keep it in, Van Arnold, and Palace will be disappointed they couldn't go further, but on the same token the Clarets will be relieved. Here's Phil Bardsley. Very unfortunate for him. I feel for him a little bit there, Phil Bardsley, as Barnes tries to control it on his chest. A little bit of an up and under there, a little bit of a Gary Owen, so to speak. And then the ball played out towards Drake McNeil. McNeil finds Taylor on the overlap. Not much for Taylor to try and pick out if he can. Wasn't giving, Wood really wasn't showing to him that much, and Burnley have they got a throw in out of that? Yes, they have. Scott Dann was the man across there to see it out. James Tompkins rather was the man to see that one out. 22.5 minutes exactly now gone, and it's still 1-0. But it is a disappointing first half of the Clarets. Although they've dominated proceedings, they are trailing. But it was a very, very lucky goal from Crystal Palace's point of view. A little bit of the rub of the green going their way. Here's Ben Mee on halfway, trots into the Palace half. Most of the game has been explained exclusively on the right, in the end away to my right, which is the cricket field end, as Henrik plays a good ball in there, a chance inside the area for one, and he's hitting straight at Hennessy. Big chance now for Burnley, still might come for Burnley at the far post. The ball's up in the air, Hennessy fists rather than catches. He was under a lot of pressure. Now Henrik now to win the next ball on the right hand side, needs to test it. Oh, that was a poor ball really by the Irishman. Oh, Burnley had a chance there of a lifetime to get back into the game, but you've got to give credit to Wayne Hennessy. He stood up big here and made a very big save here. Good ball round the corner. Wood nearly there. Should have hit it a little bit sooner than he did. I think if he'd have hit it straight away with momentum, I think he waited a split second. Should have took the first time. He took a touch, and that's what allowed Hennessy to set himself and make the save. Wood needed to hit that first time, I feel, and that would have been probably 1-1. As it is, it remains 1-0, but Wood really needed to take that chance. Here's Bardsley now to Tarkowski. So Burnley now starting to make one or two good opportunities in this first half. Oh dear, straight to Batshuayi, but that was really brainless football there from Tarkowski, and he got away with it. And then, not for the first time, I think Wood was going to be flagged offside, but Palace had possession anyway. Burnley just need to get a grip here and start, not panic, and just play with some confidence about them. The last thing they need now is 2 successive defeats. And it just makes that Southampton result a little bit hard to stomach in the terms of the decisions that were made in that game. Remember, Burnley win were taking another 33 points. Palace, who come off the back of a 3-1 loss to Manchester United, but won away very comfortably at Leicester last week, as the ball comes into the penalty area, and that's hooked behind for a corner off James Tompkins, the former West Ham man. So a corner it is. Better from Burnley, but they just need to get back on terms, I feel. 25 gone. It was a decent cross from the right hand side by big bulky Phil Bardsley there, and Tompkins got the header first. Wood really should be showing for the ball a bit more for me, but it's going to be Ashley Westwood to take it from the far side now. He's been the unsung hero really in this Burnley revival this season. Remember, unbeaten in 4 at home going into this one, as the ball comes into the 6-yard box. Tarkowski and Mee both jump in and almost getting in each other's way at the back post. In fact, Mee got the header in, but the header lacked a little bit of conviction and a bit of dip, and it was going way off target and into the cricket field stand where the Crystal Palace fans are. All about 1,500 of them are congregated behind, and this is goal, and it's a goal kick. Well, it's a tough day for Burnley at the moment. They have been the team on top, but they are trailing. And Wayne Hennessy at this early stage is starting to take a little bit of time there, which is not good for the game. It's got to be said. Here's Jack Westwood to find it, Jack Cork. And he turned now to Westwood. Now Taylor makes another good run down the left-hand channel. This time we're in the Palace half. McNeil's trying to show for him. But again, Burnley decide to go back. Now McNeil takes it on halfway. Has spotted the good run here of Phil Bardsley, and he's controlled it beautifully there, and he's done well to keep possession. He gets the ball into Henrik. Henrik plays the ball across, and Wood got in the way of the cross. Chris Wood just had to stop, had to get out of the way, and Bardsley might have had a chance. Still Burnley attacking now with Bardsley into the area. Wood didn't show for the ball again. And Westwood hits it, and hits it straight at the goalkeeper to the left of the D. But Chris Wood again needs to get out the way, because that was going straight towards Ashley Barnes, the first cross from Bardsley. And I believe if Barnes gets on that, that's an equaliser. Chris Wood, honestly, he needs to get out the way, as we just see a replay of Westwood's left-footed drive, which was easy in the end for the goalkeeper, but Burnley are still going forward relentlessly with Taylor in the area, and again Tompkins and Dan were positioned perfectly to get that away for Crystal Palace. Hands on deck defensively here for the Eagles as they look to protect this one-goal lead given to them in a very fortunate circumstances, as Schrupp's cross was turned disastrously into his own net by Phil Bardsley. 27 and a half minutes have just elapsed. Just past that, in fact. Burnley 0, Crystal Palace 1. How will Palace winning this game is one of life's mysteries. Burnley should be level, possibly winning this match. Kevin says, come on you Palace. Wan-Bissaka again has gone down in a heap. I think the referee's playing on. And he's not stopping the game. But it's a lead that Palace have barely deserved on the balance of play. I mean, if you look at the possession, look at the action areas, Burnley have had more of the play inside the Palace half, in my opinion. And Palace have got a free kick for a foul on Schlupp, and they played on straight away with Miljovic, who should have been in the book early on in the piece, as the ball comes back towards Ben Mee. He hooks that forward. Now then, a chance here for Burnley to expect. Again, there was some shirt pulling there, and Lee Probert waving play on. But I think if that was an advantage, well, that's a less of an advantage than the one that Burnley should have had in the opening 6 or 7 minutes of the game when McNeil was clean through and he brought it back for a free kick. I think this referee needs to determine what sort of advantage actually benefits who in these situations. Can he tell the difference between a good advantage and a bad advantage? Well, we'll just have to see as the ball comes forward, and that's going to fall kindly there for Wayne Hennessy, who can't pick the ball up because it was a pass back and he didn't want to take that risk. And Westwood now wins the ball. Burnley still on top but trailing, and they don't deserve to be trailing in this match. They've been the better team in my opinion. And here's Henrik now towards the edge of the area, darts forward, loses possession of the ball, and then tackles Wan-Bissaka a little bit on the late side, I think, to be fair. 29 and a half minutes gone, and Burnley do get the throw though. Must have come off Wan-Bissaka as the ball sent into the penalty area by McNeil. Wasn't the best cross that Dwight has put in, and it goes for a throw in. It's imperative Burnley do not lose this game today, because Liverpool, the way they've been playing this season, I can see only one winner at Anfield. Taylor wins the ball. Wan-Bissaka's looking for that. I'm sorry. Here's Chris Wood now to win the ball now for the Clarets, but it's knocked away. Half an hour gone in the Premier League. Clarets game live. Burnley 0, Crystal Palace 1. Burnley have been the better team. There's no doubt about that. Palace have scored on one attack, and it was a lucky goal of poor old Phil Bardsley, who didn't deserve that little fake to come his way. Yeah, because he's been playing ever so well since going in place of Matt Lowton at right back. He's played ever so well. Burnley 0, Palace 1. It's not a lead that Palace deserve, but there's still time left for Burnley to get back into this. Here's Phil Bardsley now for the Clarets, and he's got a little bit of space now to find Jeff Henrik, and Henrik will have a go again at the defender. He'll get across into the penalty area, and once again the two strikers are not showing enough for the ball for me, and I think that's what's really costing Burnley at the moment. I think the strikers have got to show willing a little bit more. certainly in the final third. I think the service is coming from the midfield, and certainly Westwood is still doing his damnedest to provide that. Jeff Henry put a lovely little cross in, and no one was showing for it. Now then, they've got a second opportunity here with Bardsley. That's too much on it, I'm afraid, from Phil Bardsley, and he apologises accordingly for that. Oh dear. It's turning into a poor afternoon at the moment for the Clarets. And Roy, I'm afraid he's got lucky. I've got to be honest, he's got lucky at the moment. Palace do not deserve to be in the front in this football match. But they are, and that's the bottom line. So Wayne Hennessy with the goal kick. I'm sorry, Karen, if it's a little bit pro-Burnley, but I am wanting them to do well. I'm sure you do with Crystal Palace, and I do appreciate that fact. Gareth Southgate, not for the first time this season, is at Turf Moor, checking over the likes of Tom Heaton, James Tarkowski. He was hoping to see people like Will Sahar as well, and maybe he might get to see a bit of Townsend in the second half as well. England have got some big games coming up as they start their Euro 2020 qualifying campaign in March in very much earnest, as Ashley Barnes goes on a canter, gets his shot off with his left foot, but he drags the shot wide, and it goes behind for a goal kick. Now what's the referee giving here? He's signalling has he given a free kick to Burnley, or is it? No, I think they're appealing well, Barnes there with the final shot, which goes wide of the target. I think the referee played a good advantage, I think, to be fair. Barnes just didn't strike his shot really with any real conviction, and Palace are lucky to get away with that too. Just got up at 4 a.m, missed the first goal. What happened? Was it an OG? It was an OG. What happened was Palace have only had one real major attack in the first half. Wilson bombed down the right hand side, crossed it back towards Gesture up on the left hand post. He crossed back, and it just seemed to come off the back of Bardsley's anatomy and just fly in the net, and it was a very, very fortunate own goal that Palace got, in fairness. You may well see it on the replay later on. I don't know if you have Match of the Day in New Zealand, Kevin, but if you do have BBC where you are and you watch Match of the Day a bit later on, you'll be able to see how that happened. But your team are winning, but on balance they probably don't deserve to, on balance of play, but they are. Here's a free kick to Palace. Van Harnout to strike it in from the near side, the left hand side as we look. The ball hooked away, and now a chance now for Henry to get it away. Burnley have brought everybody back, which I believe is a little bit negative, because they don't help themselves on the counter attack a little bit. Here's Jack Cork now. Here's Dwight McNeil. Now he's someone that can really get up ahead of steam. And Charlie Taylor, another positive run. He's past Chiatti now into the penalty area. Stabs it across. Henrik first touch of control, then shoots, and it comes off the defender and behind for a corner. And Burnley again. Well, Van Arnold, he hits away, and it's a corner kick. Burnley starting to get up ahead of steam. Surely it's a question of time before the equaliser comes calling here. They've been the team on the ascendancy. Charlie Taylor again has done what he's done best here. He was certainly by far Burnley's best player on Tuesday night. The corner was badly overhit, I'm afraid, by Ashley Westwood, and I think, has it come off the defender, is it? Well, Ben Mee reckons it. No, I thought it was a corner then, but it's a goal kick. I think Ben Mee just wanted the ball boys to get on with it. But Hennessy is taking far too long. He's took now 15 seconds on this goal kick alone, and after all that, he goes short. Here's Scott down, and here's Miljevic, to get the ball away. He's very lucky, in my opinion, to not be on a yellow card at this stage of the game, because what the Serb did in the first 5 or 10 minutes was disgraceful when he brought down Jack Cork. It was a very vicious tackle, but it should have been an advantage and a yellow card for Burnley, and I feel that they would have scored from that advantage there. The foul there on Jack Cork, because Dwight McNeil was certainly in a clear opportunity to score there for Burnley. 1-on-1 with Hennessy, and then the referee, for whatever reason whatsoever, decided to stupidly pull the play back, which I didn't think was an advantage, and in the end McNeil's free kick came to nothing. Here's Will Sahar into the penalty area. He's up against 3 Burnley defenders as the ball comes in, hooked away by Westwood. Did really well to find Charlie Taylor in the process down the left hand channel. Now a little chase on for Chris Wood, and Tompkins did really well there, because Chris Wood is a very big bulky centre forward, as we all know. New Zealand international captain, and he plays for Kevin's country as well as Scott Dan now. Burnley not closing him down, in my opinion. Now 2 of them have, but he's found a way out to Miljovic, and now Scott Dan again for Crystal Palace. Burnley 0, Crystal Palace 1. We're inside the last 10 minutes of the first half, and of course we'll take our usual 10-minute break. And well, we've had, look at that. I mean, Burnley have been the better team. 10 attempts at goal, 2 on target, and Palace have had no attempts and not on target. This is where the injustice lies in this game of football. It really does. Burnley have been much the better team, the dominant team, and yet they find themselves behind in this game, thanks to one bit of bad fortune. And Palace don't deserve it, and that's what annoys me. And Will Sahari's looking for that, and I don't believe that decision. I don't believe that decision from Lee Probert. I cannot believe that decision. That is a poor decision. Will Sahar knew exactly what he was doing. Ben Mee stood his ground, and Will Sahar played for that free kick and got the man wrongly booked. Ridiculous. So Miljovic should have been booked earlier on in the first half. Lee Probert is winning no friends with anyone in this stadium right now who's a Claret and Blue persuasion, and he's not winning any friends with this certain commentator either. Poor refereeing once again. Free kick to Palace, which they barely deserved. The free kick comes into the penalty area, and that goes for a goal kick, I think, or a foul. But there was no way in the world a yellow card for Ben Mee, and all he did was stun his ground. Ridiculous. And Scott Dan has been penalised for shirt tug on Ashley Barnes. But I'm disgusted with the way the League Probert's refereed this football game so far. I'm very disgusted. If you're going to have a referee with some common sense. It's as if he's shy of booking Palace players, and we know Will Sahar's reputation. He's a great footballer, great talent in the game, but I think he was looking for that. I really do. And I'm not allowing anything else. Oh, he's not giving a free kick there. Well, that's refreshing to see, I'll be honest. Anyway, Burnley have the ball now. And how is that a Palace throw? Came off. Well, that came off Mayer for me. But little old Burnley don't get any of those decisions, do they? What do we know? Anyway, Burnley 0, Crystal Palace 1. A lead that's been totally undeserved. It's come totally and utterly against the run of the play. The referee has favoured Palace in a lot of his decisions, and he's got another one there. And Will Sahar, I'm sorry, but he's conning the referee too many times for me. This is the latest free kick he's won against Jack Cork. I'm sorry, but Will Sahar is looking for some of these. He's a terrific talent, but he goes down rather too easily, in my opinion. And here's Miljovic. He should be on a booking for me, but he isn't, and I find that despicable. Here's Phil Bardsley to hit the ball forward, and Tarkowski, a long ball forward. But Palace are dealing with these long up and atoms by Tarkowski very, very well. 40 minutes gone, 5 to go to the break. How are Burnley 1-0 down in this game? Here's Batshuayi with a shot, and that's the first shot they've actually had on the game. And it was way off target and over the top from Michy Batshuayi, and it's behind for a goal kick. But I'll tell you what, if they've gone 2-0 up, it's a lead they would never have deserved in a million years. It's a frustrating one, really, because Burnley have played really well. And they've played really, really well in this game. They've made all the running, they've made all the chances, and yet they find themselves a goal down. And I find that a total I find that a total injustice and an indictment on the game. And even Roy Hodgson would be man enough, I think, would be good enough to say that. And even Kevin admits we are a bit lucky sometimes. Well, to be fair, you were ruthless in the second half against Leicester to give you a fair dues, but not on this occasion. Here's Ben Mee to get the ball forward. The last 4 minutes of the first half. Can Burnley find something here before half time? Still a long way to go in this game. Palace are not out of any woods yet, and if Burnley keep playing the way they are doing now, I'm certain that a goal has to come for the Clarets. And here's Westwood now from a very poor clearance by the Palace defence. Burnley now with Westwood into the penalty area, but Palace just getting bodies in the way. And here's Wilf Sahar now on the far side. Loses his balance but loses out to McNeil, and McNeil's just a tricky customer as well, but Wilf Sahar just nicks the ball as if he's on a five-a-side pitch, and then gets another decision. How many more decisions is Wilf Sahar getting in his favour? Nothing in that tackle at all, and Lee Probert straight out with the whistle once again. Wilf Sahar's getting away with a lot of stuff in this first half, and I'm afraid he's winning no friends here with me. He's a great player, but his reputation, I'm afraid, goes before him. And that was never a free kick to Crystal Palace in a month of Sundays. Never. Burnley 0, Crystal Palace 1. Referee, Burnley have played well, Palace have played poorly, but lead. And I'm afraid to say Lee Probert's performance has been despicable. If I was to give him a mark out of 10 at this stage of the game, I'd give him 2. Because he's made some very, very ridiculous errors. Meanwhile, a corner has been given, Wan-Bissaka, but I think that's a goal kick. That's what Charlie Taylor reckons. I'd like to see that one again. Burnley did benefit from a very generous decision. Well, hard to tell really. But in most cases you're going to give it to the attacking team, I suppose. So Palace, who lead undeservedly, have a corner on the far side. And this is their first of the game. Burnley have had 4. And they trail by a goal to 0 as the corner comes into the penalty area. Burnley must hook it away, and they do. Inside the last 90 seconds of normal time at the end of the first half. Probably going to be at least 1, maybe 2 minutes to be added on at the end, I would have thought. Although there wasn't time added on at the end of the first half last week at Turf Moor in the Tottenham match, which made a refreshing change. But I was wagered there'd be at least a minute, maybe 2 at best. As Barnes goes up for the header, wins the header, looks to find Henrik, just can't find the Irishman. Barza will win the next ball on the right hand side though. Barza will look to try and get a long cross into the penalty area, which he does so. In towards Barnes, who got the header in, and Wood as well. Wood got the header in initially, and that was better from Burnley, but it would have took a lot from around 16, 17, 18 yards to score past Hennessy from there, who had the goal absolutely slap bang covered anyway, and it was well wide of goal in the end, as it turned out, from the other reverse angle I saw it from. Hennessy again taking a long time over these goal kicks. It's getting frustrating. I think the fourth official should be looking at adding time on for this, because this is not on. It's not on at all. As Burnley get a throw in now, 15 seconds of normal time. I'll be amazed if it's any more than 2, maybe 3 minutes. But there has been a bit of time wasting from goal kicks. So 15 seconds a pop, probably about 5 goal kicks, so probably an extra minute. I would say 2 minutes here at this stage. Only 1 minute. Well, I find that bewildering. The amount of time wasting that's gone on from Crystal Palace, and he only gives a minute. I find that ridiculous. I thought it might be 2. And Hennessy now is taking all the time in the world here, and he's taking 15-20 seconds, maybe a little bit more on each goal kick. He shouldn't need to take that long. This is where I think there should be a 10-second. I think they should up the rules. I think there should be a 10-second rule of goalkeepers taking their kicks. I think goalkeepers get far too much protection, certainly from FIFA laws. And we've got 15 seconds of stoppage time to go. Burnley get a throw in, I don't think there's much time for anything else, quite honestly. But Burnley have certainly been the better team in a lot of respects to get another throw in. 5 seconds to go. Sure, you'll add at least another 20 seconds on for that blatant piece of time wasting. Bardsley takes the throw towards the edge of the area, on towards Barnes, but the ball breaks to Melo, who gets it forward, and he's played 8 seconds over the time. I think he should have played another 20 seconds for that blatant piece of time wasted from Wayne Hennessy. Anyway, regardless of which, it's half time, and Burnley are trailing at half time, having been the better side in this game. And it was a lucky goal from Phil Bardsley. Now there's a bit of afters at the end as Batshuayi goes down in a heat there. I'm not sure what caused that, to be quite honest with you, but Burnley are not happy. Actually, Westwood having worse to say here to Kiate, and there may be some repercussions to come from this. Burnley trail, and you can understand their frustration here. They trail to a lucky goal, went off the back of Phil Bardsley's anatomy, but the half has ended on a controversial note. But Burnley are not happy. The referee's been poor. I have to say he's been ridiculous, and on two fronts. First of all, to award Will Sahar every free kick in the book when he's going down way too easily. And then the other thing that got my goat up was 7 or 8 minutes into the game when Dwight McNeil was through after Miljovic had clearly pushed Clark. It was definitely a free kick, but there was a definite advantage there for Burnley to score, and the referee did not see or do anything about it, and I found and brought the play back, which I thought was a ridiculous thing to do. And I feel that Lee Probert should really look back at that first half with no fondness whatsoever. Burnley have been the better team, are very, very unlucky to be behind, but they must strike back in the second half, I feel, if they're going to get back into this game. Anyway, so 1-0 there in that game, so I better keep you abreast with what's been happening elsewhere, because I'm sure you all want to know what's been happening elsewhere today up and down the land. Disappointing first half there. Arsenal and Spurs finished 1-1 at the Wembley in the North London derby, as you know. So we'll check. We'll check all the scores, and it's not looking very good for Burnley, I'm afraid, because elsewhere it's 0-0 between Bournemouth and Man City, but De Bruyne has been stretched off with an injury. Valeria scored for Southampton. Now this is a game that affects the bottom end of the table, and it's not going Burnley's way at the moment. Burnley 0, Crystal Palace 1. Unlucky on goal for Palace opens the scoring. Brighton 0, Huddersfield 0. Now that's not a bad result really. So Bournemouth 0, Man City 0, United 0, Southampton 1. Disappointing news there. That's still being played at the moment. Wolves are 2 up though against Cardiff. So Cardiff are being beaten quite comfortably there. So that's good news. So some decent news from Wolves, bad news from Old Trafford, and some bad news here at Turf Moor, because the Clarets, who could do with a win to take the pressure off going into that Liverpool game next week, are trailing at half time. But the encouraging thing is, although they've had a lot of fates go against them in terms of refereeing decisions and the way the goal went in off Phil Bardsley, they can still feel in the noise that they can still get back in this game, and they've got 45 minutes left to get back in there and get level. Will they do so? Well, we'll find out in the second half, but at half time it's Burnley 0, a very, very fortunate Crystal Palace 1. Welcome back to Turf Moor, where the teams are still waiting to come out. We're still waiting for the teams to re-emerge for the second half of this Premier League game. Burnley or Crystal Palace won. A Phil Bardsley own goal after 16 minutes is the difference. Let me just talk you through the other scores. Earlier today, Spurs and Arsenal showed the spoils in a terrific North London derby. 1-1 it finished there. Bournemouth and Manchester City finished goalless, half-time goalless, but De Bruyne has been taken off. We don't know what the extent of the injury is, but it doesn't look too good from what I'm hearing. Brighton Huddersfield, that big game at the bottom, that's 0-0. Burnley and Palace, as you know, is 1-0. We're about to get on with the second half in a second or two, as Johan Berg Gudmundsson's about to come on. Manchester United Southampton is 1-0 to Southampton, a goal from Valeria, long range screamer. And the only good news that really Burnley can take heart from is that Wolves are 2-up against Cardiff. West Ham and Newcastle kick off at 5:30. At full time, we'll have the full classified check for you as well. And from England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland. We're ready to start the second half. So Johan Berg Gudmundsson has now come on for Burnley. We'll get that confirmed in just a second or two. Roy Hodgson will be a very, very relieved man. I think Burnley should be in the lead in this game on balance of play. As everyone's now back out almost for the second half. But Lee Roberts had a poor game so far, I've got to be honest. So it's all or nothing really for Burnley in this second half. They must get back into this game. Palace get us underway. We'll try and confirm that substitution for you in just a second or two. But we know it's Gudmundsson that's come off. I'm just seeing if it's Jeff Henrik is the man who's replaced. I'm going to guess it's Jeff Henrik the one who's replaced. But we're back underway anyway, and it's Burnley attacking the Jimmy McElroy end in the second half to the left, and Palace going towards their own fans to the right. I'll get that substitution confirmed in a second or two, but I'm certain that it's Henrik off and Gudmundsson on. So as I say, we'll get that checked out as soon as I get news. I'm just checking. It must be Henrik that he's replaced there. It can't be anything else, as Burnley go forward on the right hand side in the second half. So it's, yeah, I'm getting word it's Jeff Henrik off and Johan Gudmundsson on. So Henrik's probably just had a little bit. I found it a little bit tough going in this first half, I have to say. His crossing wasn't the best, but Gudmundsson has got a good right foot on him. And oh, that's annoying. I thought Wood had got him behind there, and I honestly thought he'd stayed his run. The linesman reckoned he just leaned offside a little bit. I tell you what, if there's not much in it, I think this will be. Let's see, is Wood offside? Oh, to be fair, well, it's close, but the linesman took a good 10 seconds to put his flag up, which is a little bit annoying really in a lot of respects. But Burnley died again by a linesman's flag, and Chris Wood has got to just stop getting offside a little bit too much there, and I think that's the problem here. Burnley 1-0 down. They've used a sub though. I believe Henrik has come off and Gudmundsson's come on. And that's the word I've been getting anyway, because I haven't seen number 13 anywhere else on the field. We've been playing the second half for about 2 or 3 minutes. Here's Will Sahar now to Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka with a cross and a goal for Palace. And it's Will Sahar who makes it. I think it might be Michy Batshuayi who makes it 2-0. And Burnley do not deserve this. They just simply don't deserve this. Palace are 2-up. It's a great finish, but no way do Palace deserve to be 2 goals up. But Burnley here switch off, and I'm afraid Wan-Bissaka, Turner left him unmarked, and it's a cool finish to be fair by the man on loan from Chelsea. But Burnley have only themselves to blame, but Palace on the balance of play should not be 2-0 up in this match. Absolutely disgraceful, and I have to say Lee Probman has played his part certainly in the first half, but you can't really blame Batshuayi. It's a great finish, and that's annoying for Burnley, who, if they're going to win today, have to come from behind, and this is just a start we did not want to happen. 2-0 to Palace. Oh, Jesus Christ, what rank defending from Burnley. And Burnley now need to show some fight. They need 2 goals now to draw it. And that 4-match unbeaten run at home is on its way now to being rubber stamped towards the end, unless Burnley can find 2 goals now. What a poor start to the second half. Now then, Goodmanson. Burnley now need to get the next goal now, and quick, in towards Wood, and Wood just isn't showing. He's not showing enough for me. Chris Wood needs to be better. And you just wonder now, should Burnley have strengthened more in January? Should we have gone after the lad that Newcastle got? Should we have not sold Sam Vokes? And you're just thinking now, is this the sort of day really that we could have had a Sam Vokes on? 2-0 down to Crystal Palace. This is not good enough. And the annoying thing is we're with a better team first half, but I'm sorry, but Palace have barely deserved a 2-goal lead. It's just not right. And here's McNeil now for Burnley. Oh, Jesus Christ, that is a poor touch and control. Burnley need to get a grip on this. They have started so poorly, and the injustices of going 1-0 down has got to the players a little bit here. Tarkowski and Miro with a shop. Charlie Taylor went walkabouts. Should have been closing down quicker. And Burnley are really giving themselves that mountain to climb. Certainly in the second half at least. First half we were brilliant, superb, and kept Palace to a premium. But here's Batshuayi. And here's Wan-Bissaka now. Again, Taylor giving him the freedom here. At least Wan-Bissaka's running out of play. But I'm very disappointed with the start Burnley have made in the second half. Take nothing away from the strike from Batshuayi. But let's be fair. It's not a 2-0 lead that Palace on balance deserve. Tom Heaton had little or no chance with both goals that have gone past him. Burnley need to get their heads into gear and quick. And that is a foul on, well, Miljevic should be in the book now. Should have been in the book in the first half. Should be in the book in the second as well. He clearly took out Barnes. Barnes coming in, and look at that. And Barnes, well, Miljevic is first of all stupid, and I think he should be in the book. I think he has booked him. Here's a little bit too late in my opinion. Corner surely to Burnley. And once he gave it, he's not allowed the free kick to be taken quickly. If it was Manchester City, Lee Probert would allow it to be taken. Lee Probert is getting absolutely ridiculous in the way that he's refereeing this football match. He's pathetic. He's a pathetic excuse of a referee. And I'm making no sentiments, and I'm making no apologies for this. He's had a poor game, Lee Probert. Absolutely poor. He's wasting time. Burnley had a good attack there. They took the free kick. I thought it was a good piece of improvisation. Anyway, the free kick comes in. Header one, comes to Barnes, and it comes to nothing. And that's down to the stupidity of Lee Probert's refereeing. Because Burnley might have had something going down there. Absolutely ridiculous. And I'm afraid the Wiltshire official is not many friends here today. Here's Charlie Taylor down the left hand side. Burnley 2 goals down and barely deserve to be on the balance of play. You look at the statistics, Burnley have had more of it. An own goal and to be fair, great finish from Michy Batshuayi. We've got to give him his fair dues, but Burnley didn't mark up well enough. That was not the best ball from Tarkowski, and to be fair, Taylor worked a miracle to even keep that in play. But it's a lead that Palace don't deserve, I'm afraid. Anyway, here's Westwood to hook the ball forward. That's a better ball. Now Goodmanson. Now he needs to work his magic here. And Burnley needs something in this second half. A 2-2 draw would not be a bad result now, all things considered. The ball played into the penalty area, and again Wood and Barnes none on each other's wavelength. This needs to stop happening. And here's Ben Mee to get the ball forward. I believe he was responsible as well for the second goal. I think he's been defensively... Oh, that's a foul! Man knew what he was doing! That should be a yellow card! Oh, he's lucky to get away with that. He absolutely took the lot. He took Taylor and everything out. Knew exactly what he was doing and clearly pushed him over. That, in my opinion, is a yellow card offence. and he should be being spoken to now by Lee Probert, but he's letting him off the hook. Heaton with a free kick into the Palace penalty area from the left-hand side. It's not the best free kick that Thomas Probert actually put in, but here's Barnsley to hit that forward, and he's hit that far too far. No, has he? No, he hasn't. He's found Goodmanson. I probably did him a little disservice there, perhaps. And the ball comes to Cork. Needs to be a good cross into the area. It's a teaser. One header. Chance inside the area. Barnes was there. It's going to be a corner. He's giving a goal kick. Oh, this referee. Oh, he's getting beyond a joke now. Has he given a corner? I don't know if he's given a corner or a goal kick here. Let's have a look at it again. I'm looking closely here on replay. He has given a corner. I think he was looking for a penalty. Westwood with the cross into the penalty area. It's gone grazing over the top, and it's a goal kick. How Palace not conceded by now is a mystery, and I feel Ashley Barnes should. Was it a penalty he was looking for? Well, Burnley feel they've not had too many penalties. They've had 2 in their last sort of 4 games. One against Southampton and one against Brighton, which they won 3-1. I'm afraid this referee has had an absolute stinker. I'm afraid, Mr. Probert. He's given some really iffy decisions, very iffy decisions, and it's getting beyond a joke now. The last Clarets game we did from Turf Moor was another similar vein where Anthony Taylor kept making rank decisions. Here's Wilf Zaha playing towards Kiate. Now Wilf Zaha, who's getting the bird from the Clarets support, and then tries to. Oh, he's conned him again! He's conned the referee again! Dwight McNeil did nothing. Zaha basically dived and cheated to get a free kick here. Look at this. Pathetic! It goes down in installments! This is pathetic! The referee needs to clamp this out! He should be booking Zaha for diving! He's given Palace a free kick, a very soft one at that. 10 minutes gone in the second half, and Will Zaha, I'm afraid, is a cheat. You cannot. He's got away with blue murder. He's cheated the whole afternoon. A free kick to Palace, given under false pretences as the free kick comes in towards the back post. It would be rubbing salt in it if Palace was to score again from that. Unfortunately, they've run the ball out of play. Thank God for that. But this is pathetic. I've seen a replay of Will Zaha there. He's clearly looked for that free kick, and Mr. Probert has brought every decision in the book. He's gone down in about 10 installments, and Mr. Probert has bought it. It's a joke. It's a joke from the referee, I've got to be honest. As the ball is leaning towards Barnes, was a little bit behind him, hooked away for a throw-in to Burnley, deep inside Palace territory. 11 minutes gone in the second half. It's a 2-0 lead for Palace. A lead though they barely deserved on balance. Westwood to chip the ball in. Here's a chance for Cork inside the area. First touch was a little heavy perhaps. Here's a chance now. Goodmanson's cross blocked. It's a throw-in in line with the penalty area of Palace to Burnley. And it's going to be Phil Bardsley to take the throw-in. We've played 56.5 minutes. It's Burnley 0, Palace 2. Here's Ben Mee now for Burnley, in desperate need of a goal. And here's Taylor. Oh, he's run it out. He's run it out. He's run it out. He's run it out. He's had a shocker second half, Charlie Taylor. Certainly at fault for the second Palace goal. And his wing play has been poor in the second half. It's not been as good as the first half. And this is a bad result for Burnley. But we're just going to come off the chat and just check all the other scores as we get them as well, because but actually I've got to tell you that the big news has come from Man City have scored against Bournemouth, by the way. Riyad Mahrez has just scored, so it's still 1-0 to Manchester City in that game now. 0-0 between Brighton and Huddersfield. 2-0 now. Manchester United are level. That's a little bit of good news there, because Southampton have now been pegged back and Cardiff are still losing. So other results still going Burnley's way. That's the good news. The bad news is here, and here's Van Aanholt in the penalty area. Schupp has it. Now Van Aanholt edge of the area, and he can strike them, but unfortunately he strikes it over over the bar. So Burnley might still get off scot-free in terms of the other scores, because what's happened is United have drawn level against Southampton, so that's 1-1. I'll tell you the goal scorer in that one. It's Pereira who's got the goal. Thank heavens that he scored. And Wolves are 2-up against Cardiff, and I'll tell you who scored in those games as well. Jota and Jimenez. So I thank all three of those at the moment, because results are going our way elsewhere, but we're not doing ourselves any real favours in this game. So 2-0 we trail, but thankfully Southampton are doing us a favour by letting a lead slip, and Cardiff are doing us a bit of a favour as well. So we are quite fortunate in that aspect. So results elsewhere going for us, but against us here at Turf Moor, 2-0. But if we can get a draw, that would not be a bad result. It would take us a little bit further clear of Southampton, and more so Cardiff City, who occupy the third relegation place along with Huddersfield, and of course Fulham, who have just sacked Ranieri and have taken on Scott Parker on an interim role. 2-0 to Palace. We're a minute shy of the hour mark. Here's Westwood on the left hand side, back to Ben Mee. This needs to be crossed in. We can't go back and forth. Mee needs to cross this in, and he needs to cross it in good, but it's not good enough, is it? No, it's not. Poor cross from Ben Mee. Goalkeeper under not really great pressure either, really, from the attackers. Takes that comfortably, and Burnley again left to rue what might have been. It's not been a good afternoon at the office, but other results are going their way at the moment. We'll have another check-up on the latest scores as soon as we get them, and of course we'll have the full classifieds at full time for you to pop over as well, as Jeff Schrupp goes forward and gets the shot in, and just for one fleeting moment it looked as if it got in the back of the net, but it's hit the back stanchion and hit the net in. It might have got a deflection. I think the referee's saying corner. It's Jeff Schrupp who can hit them himself. Oh, that's not a bad effort, you know. It's hit the back stanchion, and it's hit the back middle stanchion and has gone into the back of the net in. It is a Palace corner. It must have got a deflection, although I didn't really see much of a deflection there, but it is a corner to Palace, and it's on the far side, and it's Miljovic to take the corner. Remember, their last win here was in 2015, a 3-2 reverse, and they were 2-0 down at one stage in that game. So maybe Burnley could do the reverse on there in the second half. That's a poor cross by Mailer, and it's a goal kick to Burnley. So if they're going to win this game 3-2, they've got to come from behind here, Burnley. But it's been a really poor afternoon defensively, certainly in the second half for the Clarets. But they have been the better team. I don't think there's much doubt about that. And I just think the referee is favoured a lot in Crystal Palace's favour as well. Certainly in the big decisions. Anyway, the goal kick has been taken by Tom Heaton. Forward again. And here's a chance now for Cork to win the next ball. Ball comes nicely to McNeil. McNeil has to turn back inside. Westwood to hook a ball out towards Gudmundsson. If he can find him on the far side, he can. Gudmundsson does really, really well. Finds Bardsley. But again, Burnley are deciding to go backwards here. Palace and letting them come backwards. This is poor from Burnley. They need to be going at it now. They've got to be going for the cutthroat like they did in the opening exchanges of the first half. They need to be playing a lot better than this. The ball into the penalty area. That's a poor ball from Westwood. Another poor ball. The final ball in has just been not ring good enough. Straight too close to the goalkeeper, and that has been the story of the match. Neither that or the attackers have not shown enough for me. And well, we've got Matty Vidger and Peter Crouch. God almighty. And we know what these two, I mean, you know, I don't think we should have signed Peter Crouch. We should have kept hold of Sam Vokes. This is my personal opinion. He's a good player to have in the dressing room, I'm sure, but 38 years old, I just find that mind-boggling, and I have to blame Mike Garlick for that. I mean, we should have gone after somebody like Alvaron, who cost Newcastle a mere 20 million, and look what he's doing. Newcastle are now zooming up the table like the cheese of fourpence. They play West Ham incidentally this evening at the London Stadium. Kick-off 5:30. The wind is blowing, but it's not. It's turning out to be a windy and dire day for Burnley at the moment. 2 goals down with 28.5 minutes left to play. And the ball goes back to Tom Heaton. This has got to be, it can't be at Burnley's end now for too long. It's got to get up the Palace end of the field. We've got to get showing a bit more. Wood was surely fouled there, and the referee has not allowed it. And he was 10 yards away. And that was the clearest free kick I think I've seen in the entire game. Ball played in by Van Arnold. Heaton decided to fist. I don't think that was good advice. And then the ball fired back in. Oh my goodness me. Referee again. He's not winning any friends. A clear foul on Chris Wood. And I think there was a fistful of shirt. He was 4 yards away. Didn't see it. I find that pathetic. I find that truly and utterly pathetic. The referee has had a joke of an afternoon. And, well, we've seen some rank refereeing at Turf Moor this season. He's certainly up there. Not in Anthony Taylor's class, obviously, but this is, I'm afraid it's just been a prime example again of how English officials and referees are so poor in this country. As Wood wins the next ball, it comes to Gudmundsson now. Now then, they need to show for this cross. Gudmundsson's cross, oh, just didn't get through. I have to say Dan and Tompkins have had decent games for Palace at the back. As Court wins the loose ball deep inside Palace territory. McNeil now. McNeil shows it. Oh, that's a poor ball from Dwight. What is he doing? Burnley are just being frustrated at the moment. And Palace are getting away with everything that's going their way. Burnley just need to play with a lot of purpose. That's better from Dwight McNeil, closing the play down. And a throw into Burnley. Tompkins is not happy. He feels there was a high foot by McNeil. Never a high foot. I think he took his foot away there. Meanwhile, there's a yellow card coming out of the League Pro Bet. Who's he giving it to? I'm just trying to work out what he's doing here. You can never tell with this referee, can you? I'm looking at him. He's refereeing this so shoddily, it's unbelievable. Here's the cross from Wood towards the edge of the area, and it comes towards Gudmundsson. Bardsley to knock the ball in, hits the defender, and this could be trouble here for Burnley. And Palace are on their bike and totally out of position, but out comes Tom Heaton. Did really well. Jeff Schlupp was making a menacing run down the middle, but his first touch was way too heavy, and it saved Burnley in essence, because if he'd have took a better touch, then I think it might have been 3-0 and game over. We'll keep abreast of what's happening elsewhere in a second or two once we get a breaking play. Here's Jack Court now for Burnley, in towards Wood. Burnley need to score the next one if there is to be a next goal. Here's Taylor, left hand side. The cross needs to be better if there is to be a cross. That's surely a foul, and that's a free kick. Manchester United, I believe, are winning, so it's 2-1 there according to Kevin. We will check it and confirm it, but I'm sure Kevin is honest enough, and that is good news for Burnley as well as Palace, because it means that Southampton can't close the gap. Wolves were already 2-0 up at Cardiff, but we will check that out as soon as we get a breaking play. But free kick to Burnley, and that's the first major good decision I think Lee Roberts made in the entire match. Now, what about the delivery, Dwight? Have you got it in you? If we can get one back, it's still savable. I would fancy the right foot of Westwood here rather than the left foot. It is Westwood. It's a poor free kick. Back comes Westwood once again into the edge of the penalty area. It comes out to Ben Mee. Mee controls it. Bardsley, he's hooked it high, and it's looping. This could be trouble for the goalkeeper, and the ball knocked back in and wide from Ashley Barnes from around about the right hand side of the penalty spot with his left foot. And well, you get the sense, in essence, even with still a little bit of a way to go in this match, with 25 minutes left to play, it might not be the Clarets' day. And there may be a question mark whether that was a goal kick or not, because it seemed to come off a Palace player. But, well, I can just remind you that Gudmundsson's already been used. Burnley have got left Joe Hart. I very much doubt he'll be needed. Matt Lawton, Robbie Brady, Ben Gibson, Peter Crouch and Matty Vidra. Crouch and Vidra were just poor when they came on the other night against Newcastle, and were just made to look real muppets, really. As the long ball is now chased towards Barnes, and then the ball back by Tompkins. Cool as you like, really, by him to Wayne Hennessy, who's now taking an eternity once again. He kicks away. He's getting the bird from a lot of the Burnley fans, and that's going to go out of play midway inside the Burnley half for a throw into Burnley. Full time will bring you the full classified check from England, Scotland, Wales, and of course Northern Ireland. Oh, that looked a horrible challenge there on Chris Wood, and once again the referee didn't spot it. No great appeals admittedly from Burnley, but it looked a dangerous little challenge from where I was sitting, and I've got to be honest, the referee should be wise to all this. The rain is starting to pour here at Turf Moor, and the rain's pouring in on Burnley at the moment, in this match at least. At least Manchester United and Wolves are doing us a bit of a favour as the ball has been kept in on the far side here. Barsley now, the cross deflected away. Palace are getting all the look that is going on offer to them. Here's the cross from Westwood, another poor cross. The final balls has just not been sufficient enough really. Maybe they run themselves way too ragged maybe against Tottenham, with all due respect. Now what's the referee doing here? I think he's going to book somebody here. Is he going to book Mailer? Is it Mailer? I'm not sure who's been booking in the second half because we haven't had any confirmations from the captions on our screen. So I'm trying to work out who's been booked and who hasn't been booked. Mailer's been booked. It must have been a foul in the build-up to the Burnley chance a minute or two ago. Here's Ben Mee getting back well, and he was so unfortunate not to be booked, I thought, in the first half. Very, very unlucky. But here's Wan-Bissaka. He's done really well, I have to say. Wan-Bissaka set up the goal, but was given far too much space by Charlie Taylor, which is a cardinal sin as a left back really. If you give your opponent too much space and a bit of respect, and he did that, and to be fair it was a great finish by Batshuayi, and it's 2-0 to Crystal Palace, but it's a lead that they barely deserved if you look at it logically on balance of play. Here's that's surely got to be a throw-in or a handball. It's definitely one or the other with 20 minutes left to play. Gudmundsson with the free kick. I will just go on elsewhere. I'll go onto the BBC app and check all the other scores that are happening at the moment. Mahrez, remember, has put Manchester City in front now, so they're 1-0 up. We'll get all these scores, latest scores confirmed. I can tell you that Mailer has come off and James McArthur now has come on for Crystal Palace, and so Manchester United 2, Southampton 1. But I'll check the scores in detail because we've got a free kick to see out first. Gudmundsson to take it on the right hand side, floated into the penalty area. They all jump for it, but it's a Palace head who invariably wins it. And here's Wilf Zaha now, but it shows too much of that to Charlie Taylor, and Dwight McNeil does well, but he was taken out shortly there by Wan-Bissaka. That was a poor challenge, and the referee's not spotted it! Oh my word, Lee Probert, what are you doing? And now a chance now for Batshuayi to make it 3. He goes round Heaton, but the ball runs out of play, and maybe justice is done in that sense, because surely Burnley should have had a free kick at the other end of the field when Wan-Bissaka went in very, very hard, stood showing, and then there might have been questions maybe Batshuayi was offside or not. But I'm sorry to say, it was a backheader from Ben Mee which put him onside, so you can't really blame. So the offside isn't the debate really. And McNeil's coming to come off. It's not been his best game, I'm afraid, Dwight McNeil. Maybe it's time for Robbie Brady to work some of that left foot magic. See if we can get Burnley back into this contest. But I thought he was taken out quite crudely there by Wan-Bissaka, and the referee, not for the first time, did not see it, and he was in a marvellous position to see it. Lee Probert, what are you playing at? I mean, quite honestly and sincerely, what you're playing at. 18 minutes to play, and it's looking a hopeless task now for Burnley now. Maybe Brady should have come on about 5 minutes earlier really, but you're just wondering now as Burnley's best chance of getting anything gone now. That's a poor ball again, and it's out for a goal kick from as Barnes looks to try and get on the end of it. it's frustrating for Burnley. And it's a game they've really dominated in as well. Anyway, let's check what's been happening around the country, shall we, and try and console ourselves a little bit. Tottenham Arsenal, that finished 1-1 earlier today. Bournemouth 0, Manchester City 1. Mahrez with the goal. Brighton and Huddersfield still level. 0-0 in that game, so not looking good for Brighton at the moment. Burnley 0, Palace 2 is the game that we're looking at as Tompkins hooks away. Manchester United have turned it around against Southampton, 2-1. Lukaku scoring on the hour mark in that game, and Wolves coasting, it seems, to a certain 2-0 victory over Cardiff, which is, and again, another good bit of news as Brady tries to run down the left-hand channel, but it's out for a throw-in. Let's see if there's been any other. It's been no other chat. I mean, there's a JB man in the match in operation as the ball comes forward, and a chance here for Barnes on the edge of the area. Handball, surely. Lee Probert again did not spot it. He looked as clear as day. The referee's having a stinker for me. Meanwhile, it's Will Sahar on the right for Palace. Oh, that looked a handball there. 3, 4, 5 Burnley players were appealing, and Lee Probert not 3 yards away didn't even see it. I find that despicable from the referee. It looked a handball to me. I would like to see that again. I would like to see an action replay of that one, because to me that looked a clear handball on the edge of the D, and Lee Probert, I'm afraid, and I hate to say this because Kevin's a mate of mine and he's a great YouTube subscriber, but I think he's got a white shirt underneath him, quite honestly, as the ball is playing into the area. Still, just for a moment I thought Tompkins had lost it then, and he's hooked out for a throw-in. Oh my goodness me, but it did look a handball. There were 5 Burnley players appealing for that, and Lee Probert just doesn't want to give Burnley too much here at the moment in terms of decisions, and Palace have had the big decisions, there's no doubt about that today. Oh, that's another foul there. He's gone down, and he was, oh my goodness, I think Palace are getting away with blue murder here, and this is pathetic. The referee's having a stinker. Westwood gets back, Mead as well. Oh my goodness me, Lee Probert, a clear foul on Gunnarsson on the far side, again not spotted. He's having a stinker. Now Will Sahar, wouldn't it just be typical if he scores now? And he has, and it was a clear free kick on the far side. The referee has cost Burnley a third. Cheating all the way. Will Sahar's been a cheat all afternoon, and Burnley do not deserve this. The referee has cost Burnley a goal. I felt there was a free kick on the far side, and Burnley have been absolutely strung up by this referee today. Will Sahar's made it 3. He's a diver, he's a cheat, he's conned the referee a few times, and now to add insult to injury, makes it 3. And again, maybe Taylor and me should have been a lot better there, but it's pathetic. I'm so annoyed. This is not a lead that Palace deserve. Not deserve. And I'm banging my commentary desk. I'm banging my commentary desk in frustration, because this is not a 3-0 scoreline for Crystal Palace. Let's make no mistake whatsoever. It's game over now. But it's no way a 3-0 scoreline, and I think Palace have had the sympathy vote all the way through the match. It's been an absolute joke, and I think Lee Probert on this showing today never should ever referee a top flight football match ever again. Here's Robbie Brady with the Clarets, who are 3-0 down, undeservedly in my opinion. Here's Brady again. It's just a joke. Oh my goodness me, what the heck was that? Brady just hit it straight in him. Oh, now Sahar's. Oh, Sahar! Get up! Sahar's been looking to wind people up all day, and he's only gone and done it now, hasn't he? The cheat. Oh my goodness. He's wound Burnley up, and I'm sorry, but I feel, you know what? Well done. Good, full marks to Brady for doing that. Just shows that one player actually cares about Burnley, about what it means to Burnley. And I thought Sahar's lacked class for me. He's lacked class. I'm not trying to be horrible to Crystal Palace, but Will Zaha, the talent that he is, and he's going to take forever. He has been a complete and utter disgrace to his team today. He may have scored, but he has cheated, he's dived, he's connived and got in, and he should be, I think he should be off the pitch for diving. That's how I feel about Will Zaha this afternoon. And that's not being bitter and twisted, that's me being honest. And I'm sorry, but Will Zaha should be is a disgrace. The way he dies and cheats to win free kicks and penalties is a joke. And I'm sorry, Roy Hodgson, you can smile all you want, but the man is a disgrace to your team. He's a great player, and you know, listen, I love watching him play, but when he's in that sort of mood, I can't condone what he does. I'm sorry, but that's how I feel. And Palace have cheated today. They've cheated. They've had 3 shots, they've gone in the net, and the third one should never have been allowed to stand because it was a clear free kick on Goodmanson in the build up to the third goal. And Lee Probert has cost us the game. Here's McArthur now on the edge of the area. It's never a 3-0 result, and here's a chance now for a 4th visit for Palace. And the players going down left, right and centre. It's a corner only to Palace. Burnley now on the cosh. 12 to play, and Batshuayi getting a deserved kick in there for me. He's been a bit of a joke as well. I tell you what, Palace have been very disrespectful today. Good tackle there by me. Milivojevic looking for McArthur looking for a penalty which never was. There's no way is that a 3-0 scoreline. And I'd like to know what Sean Dyche thinks about it afterwards. Here's Wan-Bissaka playing that ball in, and Burnley just getting a little bit of higgledy-piggledy in the defence as Tompkins goes for a shot. He's probably Townsend rather going for the shot. I think Tompkins has probably been their best player. Shows how good I think the 2 Palace centre-halves have been good, but I don't think Palace have been good in attack, and they've been lucky. McArthur now in there, and here's Goodmanson. I really am trying to fathom how Palace have won this game. They have the referee in the back pocket all the time. Good tackle again. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Nothing wrong with that tackle whatsoever. 10 to play, 3-0. And I'm finding it very hard to stomach at the moment. Wilfried Zaha is a disgrace to his team. He's a disgrace to his shirt. He's a diving little scoundrel that if he cut that horrible streak out of his game, I think he could be a very, very good footballer. And that's my viewpoint on it. And Burnley weren't picking up on the short corner either. Oh my giddy aunt, what I'm seeing here is pathetic. It's like Burnley before Christmas as the shot goes over the top. And it was Van Arnold this time with his left foot who hit it on the volley and hit it into the Palace fans for a goal kick, thankfully for Burnley. But this is not the Burnley we've been used to seeing in recent weeks. That's a poor clearance from Ben Mee. He's had another stinker today, I'm afraid. Ben Mee. And well, that just shows how desperate we've turned to, because Chris Wood, well, he's made the change at the wrong time again. Back to old habits, I'm afraid, for the Clarets. It feels as if we've revisited the form before Christmas, I'm afraid. 3-0. It's not a 3-0 scoreline. That's the top and bottom of it. And Palace have got away scot-free with this result. And if Roy Hodgson, and I will disagree with anything that Roy Hodgson said, if Will Zaha said, if he says any complimentary about Will Zaha, then Roy Hodgson is a fool. Anyway, 3-0. And I just don't think Palace deserve it on balance of play, and I feel bad because I feel like I'm dissing Kevin's team, but this may be a bit Burnley biased, but I'm calling it as I'm seeing it, and I'm afraid the referee has been a joke. Lee Probert should never be allowed to referee a league match ever again. He has had a stinker of a match. And Kevin summed it up really in the thing that he said there. JBMLTM ref. Wow. Might be giving the ref the man in the match, and to be quite honest with you, the way, but I'm going to give him villain of the match. Never mind man in the match, he's the villain of the match. He's had a stinker, Lee Probert. Milivojevic should have been sent off. Batshuayi's going off. now, and he's taking forever. And well, he's a bit late now, isn't it, to start making him go off very quickly. This is the second goal. I have to blame Ben Mee and James Tarkowski as well as Charlie Taylor. Should have closed him down a lot quicker. It just really was pathetic defending on the second goal. But I have to say, Benteke comes on. But well, I'll let you into a secret, folks. If Burnley were to score a winning goal today, which is looking quite unlikely because they've got a corner, even though they've got a corner here, and time running out, I was even going to use my old recycle line when we played Palace a couple of years ago, when Barnes got the winner in that one. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? Well, at the moment we're winning more than a bird and a plane in Ashley Barnes at the moment. Here's the corner from Westwood into the penalty area it goes. Ben Mee was up. And that's gone behind for surely a corner there. Surely Crouch is saying corner. Well, can Peter Crouch do something here? Well, they need 3 goals in something like 6.5 minutes, and Palace are now just taking the mickey here. They're showing no. They're just taking their time. I'm not against all that, but here's the corner. Westwood to swing it into the penalty area towards the back stick, and there's appeals there. Surely that's another corner. It's giving a goal kick. It clearly came off a Palace player last. Oh my days! This referee and the officials have been pathetic. Oh my goodness me! I am absolutely annoyed and objectively annoyed with the officiating here today. Casual Chris CW has been on. He's actually said this: we've been poor today, referee aside. We have rolled over, which is true, certainly on the second goal. The lack of pace in this team gets exposed by Palace every time we play them. They are a team that do have great pace, Palace, and to give them their fair dues, but I'm afraid that some of the gamesmanship from Palace has been pathetic as well. But it's not a 3-0 scoreline. I do think we are looking a little bit leggy though. Here's Charlie Taylor now for Burnley. Well, can we pull off the miracle? 5 minutes plus stoppage time to go. Can we get 3 goals and rescue a 3-3 draw? Wouldn't it be amazing if we could? We're only dreaming, of course. Here's Westwood now. Can Burnley find something here? Can they get the ball up towards Crouch? They must get it on Crouch's head here. That's a poor ball to Taylor. The final ball has been pathetic for Burnley today. Never mind the iffy refereeing and everything, but well, you just wonder if that free kick had been given and not the third Palace goal, would it have been a different ball game? That's what I'm thinking right now. It's not great, and not good news elsewhere. Brighton have ragged to goal. A goal in that game. Let me just check the scores. This is not good news for Burnley, these scores, by the way. The only good bit of news is Cardiff City are losing, sorry. But it's not going to help our goal difference. Brighton are winning undeservedly, I believe, against. So let's have a look. Man City winning. Brighton have scored. Let's see who's got the goal. And Donny after 79. Southampton have sneaked an equaliser. Ward Prowse with a quarter of an hour to go. The only saving grace is Cardiff that are 2-0 down against Wolves, and that's the only saving grace. Burnley now back to their old stupid ways, really, of conceding very cheap goals. But I think the third one was down to refereeing error. I think there was a clear free kick on Johan Berg Gudmundsson in the build-up. But it's all ifs and buts and maybes now, I'm afraid. So here's Robbie Brady. We'll be doing a full classified check at around about 5 o'clock. In towards the area, poor ball towards Peter Crouch. And Burnley now, I'm afraid, all that leg of this is being exposed, I'm afraid. Take the iffy refereeing out of it. And not even the brilliant Robbie Brady could unleash it. And you just wonder now if we'd have had Stephen Defoe in there as well. Westwood, I don't think has recovered enough from the illness. Well, this is a real blow for Burnley. 3-0. It was never really a 3-0 scoreline, in all honesty. And you just wonder now if things had been different, if Burnley had been allowed to have that advantage at 0-0 in the first half would the game have been so different. And that's the impression that I'm getting right now. But I think Lee Probert has sort of half decided the game in Palace's favour, because you look at it. If Wright McNeil's allowed to go on one-on-one with the goalkeeper at that point, the advantage was there for Lee Probert to play, and I feel that he got it wrong. But there you go. I mean, it's easy for me to look at it from 23 different camera angles and all that jazz, but I don't think Probert has covered himself in glory today, I'm afraid, as the ball played in behind. Good challenge there by Tarkowski, because Benteke was in there maybe to add real salt into the already gaping wound into Burnley's hurt at the moment. Here's Gudmundsson on the right for Burnley, 3-0 down and needing, well, more than 3 goals and about several million snookers at the moment. Here's Crouch to win the next ball. Might just brawl inside the area for Crouch. Can Burnley at least finish with a flourish? Oh, they just couldn't reach Cork. It might reach Gudmundsson. Now can Crouch get on the end of it? No, he can't. And it evades Peter Crouch and Robbie Brady. It was a poor ball really from Gudmundsson. And it just sums up Burnley's afternoon in a nutshell. As I said, I had that pre-prepared line for Ashley Barnes should he has got the winner today. That's not going to be the formality now. Unfortunately, it's not going to be the case, and that's sad, because next time I plan something, I won't plan it. What a bad day it has been for Burnley Football Club. But they have been outdone by some very poor officials, and Lee Probert should never, ever be allowed to referee a match ever again. And some of the decisions that he made in Palace's favour were blatantly obvious. And there's a goal for Burnley. There he is, Ashley Barnes. I can't use the line because it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, because Palace are going to sneak away with the 3 points anyway. But Burnley are on the scoreboard. Ashley Barnes with a header. At least it gives the game a little bit more respectability about it, and Burnley have scored. But it's too little too late. But Ashley Barnes, aye Ashley, makes it 3-1. Pulls it back to 3-1. And that's a terrific header, and for once the Palace defence were caught napping. But we're inside the last minute of normal time, but we don't know how long we're going to have for stoppages. I'm going to have a guess here, 5 minutes. But Ashley Barnes, well done to him. Got a good header on that, and it was a great header. But here comes Palace again, looking to wrap it up with a fourth, and it's on the edge of the area now. And here come Burnley now with Brady. Oh, that's a bad tackle. That's a bad tackle. Yellow card, 5 added minutes. That's a foul. And the referee has blown for it. Heaton takes the 3 kick. So there's still a glimmer of hope. If they can score again here, would make things that little bit more interesting. Here's Brady. It shows that Burnley are not giving in even at 3-0 down. At least that is the case. And if there's a positive to take from that, it surely is that. But here come Crystal Palace, and this is Townsend, who scored a screamer against Manchester City and almost gets one there. He hits it straight down Tom Heaton's throat. He hit the post in that 3-2 Burnley classic a couple of years back after Barnes had scored that goal. Here's Brady now to chip it in there towards Ashley Barnes. Crouch might get on the end. Crouch controlling. Crouch shoots. And it's just gone wide. Oh, I thought that was his first Burnley goal. He did everything right. He hit the ball goalwards. And Wayne Hennessey's outstretched hand has denied him here. It's going, and he gets the merest of flicks, Wayne Hennessey. And that's been the story of the match. We played a minute and 20 at the 5. Burnley are still not finished yet as the ball is floated in there. Edge of the area. Taylor. Oh, he could have had a shot there. Ben Mee needs to chip this onto the head of Crouch, and it's too high. Still in play though. Ball comes in there. Still Burnley attack. Oh, it comes to Mee at the far post. And it's out of play. Out of play. And maybe any glimmer of hope has gone with that opportunity, but just a shame it's come a little bit too late. Maybe they should have got Crouch on at 2-0 down, and maybe, just maybe, Burnley might have had a way back in. Maybe. It's spots and maybes now. 3 minutes of the 5 left to play. Burnley 1, Crystal Palace 3. Brighton are winning as things stand. Confirmation of Barnes' goal going through. Not that it's going to matter now, surely, in the grand scheme of things. as Townsend goes striding forward. He goes down rather half-heartedly. Never in a month of Sundays is that going to be a penalty. And Charlie Taylor did really well. But the problem with Palace is they've got pace to burn. I tell you what, he's a lucky boy actually, to be fair, Taylor. And maybe the Palace should have been ordered a penalty. Townsend's actually got himself an injury, and it's a very serious one as well. But Burnley are being frustrated. It is a corner for all that. 2 minutes of the 5 left to play, and Burnley are now frustrated here by the amount of blatant time wasting that Palace are putting on. It's Benteke goes past his man, and he's absolutely wrestled Taylor out the way there. Rather stupidly, I felt, there from the big Belgian striker. So we're praying for miracles now that Huddersfield can equalise and Manchester United can get a late winner here. Wolves have done their bit. Burnley should have had another free kick there, but the decisions have not gone their way, and Crouch was surely being held there. The amount of stupid free kicks that Burnley have not been allowed to be given has been astronomical. Anyway, the ball played in towards the penalty area. Crouch shot and lucky, says Kevin, but it would have made it for a little bit of a grandstand finish, but at least Burnley are still going for it. And here's Gunmanson. Now then, at least let's have a second goal. Here's Westwood. Good run, good pass. Oh, it's behind Barnes and Crouch inside the penalty area. And that just sums up Burnley's torrid and disappointing, frustrating afternoon. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. Just too much venom on the cross. And it was behind both strikers, and that just sums up Burnley's day. And the referee should be adding time on again. He's taking about 25 seconds on this goal kick now, Hennessy. He's really taking the mickey here. We're about 20 seconds away from the end, and as the ball comes away, very, very disappointing day for Burnley. Thank you to Kevin and to Casual Crisper, keeping me entertained on a day where it's been really bad really for Burnley. As Barnes tries to go in there, we've played 5 minutes. I should stress it's a minimum off. Surely he's got to play another minute more for the Palace time wasted, as Ben Mee holds it up back to the goalkeeper. Now then, here's Tom Eaton to Charlie Taylor. Taylor now. We're playing deep into the 5 minutes. Oh, he's only played 15 seconds over. That was pathetic, considering that Palace took over 2 minutes of time wasting during that 5. Anyway, it's all over anyway. It's finished 3-1 to Palace, but how they won that game will be the mystery of all mysteries. It was just unbelievable. Burnley have lost here, and it was their first home defeat since being hit for 5 against Everton on Boxing Day. And what a disappointing day. It all went wrong from the moment that the referee failed when Cork was fouled by Miljevic, who should have been booked, by the way, for that challenge. He was shoved to the floor, but McNeil was through on goal. The referee brought the play back when it should have been a clear advantage. Then, to cap it off, on the 15-minute mark, Barnsley scored an unfortunate own goal. 1-0 at the break to Palace at that point. Then Batshuayi, 3 minutes into the second half, smashes it in to make it 2-0. And then when Burnley should have had a free kick on the far side when they were attacking towards the left-hand side, Palace went through the centre. Will Sahar, cutting from the right, twisted and turned, and then hit the shot into the back of the net, and it was game over from then on in. But that fair goal should not have been allowed to stand, because in my opinion there was a clear foul on Gudmundsson on the build up to that goal. As it happened, it was also Manchester United are 3-2 up, so the results are coming in. Brighton have annoyingly won against Huddersfield, so that's a bad result. So God knows what that will mean for the league table at this stage, where at 16 minutes 33 we've played over the 5 minutes, I believe. The attention is now turned to Old Trafford. Southampton have been beaten. It looks as if they're being beaten. They're playing stoppage time as well at Wolves, but Wolves are comfortably winning against Cardiff by 2-0 in that one as well. So the full times as we have them earlier today, Tottenham 1, Arsenal 1 in a very good fierce North London derby. Pogba's already. I've just noticed that Pogba's been booked there in the feed that I've got at the moment. All the action is centred on there. So Tottenham 1, Arsenal 1. A case of penalties, given one each. Arsenal missed theirs at the end, and Spurs took theirs for Harry Kane. Aaron Ramsey have put Arsenal ahead in that game. Riyad Mahrez has given Manchester City a victory at Bournemouth, so the gap, the pressure now cranks up on Liverpool ahead of that massive Merseyside derby tomorrow. The whistle has just gone, I believe, at Old Trafford, and I've just seen Ole Gunnar Solskjaer throw a punch in the air there on my monitor. So that's finished 3-2. So that's a good result for Burnley as it happens, as well as Crystal Palace as it happened. A goal from Andone has given Brighton a victory there to win, and so disappointment there. So this is the league table as I've got it at the moment. We now drop to 16th. Brighton go ahead of us on goal difference, annoyingly, but thankfully the gap is still 5 points, so it's not a complete disaster today if you look at it logically. So all the full-time scores are in around the country. The whistles, as I just said, have gone at Manchester United. So that's finished there. Well, it's been a disappointing day for Burnley. It's been a disappointing day for Southampton. Been a great day for Brighton. Although their 1-0 win was probably down to luck more than anything else, I would have thought. But that's the way it is, I'm afraid. But the good news is that Manchester United have beaten Southampton, Wolves have beaten Cardiff. So although we have been beaten today, it's not really all doom and gloom. So to go through the full-time results: Man City won at Bournemouth, Brighton have beaten Huddersfield, and also Burnley have lost to Crystal Palace by 3-1. That's a disappointing result for Burnley. That really is a disappointment for Burnley today, because I felt there was 3 points to be taken, and now the pressure really cranks up for that Liverpool match in Anfield a week on Sunday. So disappointment there. Manchester United have beaten Southampton by 3-2, and Wolves have beaten Cardiff by 2-0. We'll get all the reaction from all the games in the Championship. Villa have won 4-0 against Derby. Ipswich have beaten Birmingham. Ipswich are losing to Reading. Rotherham, though, great result. If they can hold on against Blackburn, that would be a fantastic result. So that's where you stand. Norwich will go top. I'll try and get all the scores as we go on. Stoke have beaten Forest 2-0. Oldham have gained a point at home to Stevenage. Tranmere have won at Exeter as well. It's all getting tight up there at the moment, as the whistle has just gone at Molineux. Accrington have lost against Coventry, who could be without, who are under, who, if they don't get a venue sorted out for next season in Coventry, could be no more. But Accrington are free-flowing at the moment, or free-falling at the moment. They had a good start, but that's the way sometimes it goes. There's been a late goal in the game at Brentford in the West London derby, 3-0. So QPR are well beaten side in that one as well. Well, it's been a disappointing day here at Turf Moor. Harrogate have drawn 1-1 with Dagenham and Redbridge. Clyde have beaten Edinburgh City by 1-0. Middlesbrough have been held in their push for promotion, 0-0 against Wigan. And Swansea have beaten Bolton by 2-0. McBurney and Serena are still beating them by the way. Norwich have won at Millwall by 3-1, so Millwall prepping up for their FA Cup quarter-final in a couple of weeks' time with a defeat at the Den. The next visitors will be Brighton in that competition on 2 weeks on Sunday. And there we go. I'm just waiting to get the full classified check. Well, we're hoping to hear from Sean Dyche before 5:30 when we're going to be leaving you. Ipswich and Reading played out a 2-1 win for Reading, and Ipswich now look a deflated team at the moment. They're in massive trouble. It's been 0-2 Birmingham nil is now a result, and so is Airdrie 1, Montrose 0. Bad day for another Lancashire side. Blackpool tonked 4-0 down at Bristol Rovers today. That's a very bad result, that, for the Tangerines, and Derby have been massively beaten at Villa Park today. 2 goals for Conor Hourihane, Tammy Abraham chipping in with 1, and Jack Grealish with 1. All coming in the first half, incidentally, at Villa Park. 4-0, and Derby's promotion push under Frank Lampard has well and truly fallen off the rails, and it has been one of those days. Preston have drawn 1-1 against Bristol City, so Bristol City have saved themselves a point. It's all been happening elsewhere from here at Turf Moor. And great news, Burnley fans, just the pick me up we needed. Rotherham have done a great favour. They've beaten the you know who by 3 goals to 2. So you know who from the other end of the M65 have been beaten 3-2 against Rotherham. I love to mention their names. I'll obviously have to say their name in the classified check, which is coming up in just over a minute or two's time. Wigan have been held Middlesbrough. So great result there. Great result there for Salford. Puts them back in the hunt there. Absolutely Anonymous says, sorry for joining late, JB. What happened with Burnley? JB Live. I'm disappointed, really. We played really well first half. Trail to a goal from Johan Berg Gudmundsson, and that was a very disappointing one. And of course, Palace scored 2 goals. There was some debates from the referees as well. The referee had a stinker. Barnes pulled one back towards the end as well. But that's how it happened, unfortunately. Absolutely Anonymous. That's the way it went. But I am indebted to your lads for winning today at Old Trafford and doing us a favour against Southampton, who thankfully didn't win. And to Wolves as well. Any Wolves supporters, thank you very much indeed for doing us a favour for beating Cardiff as well. So thank you very much indeed. Stoke have beaten Nottingham Forest, who won the East Midlands Derby 1-0 against Derby the other day. So their little run is over. So we're now going to go live now with a full classified check. There's a few full-time scores still to be settled, so some late results still to come. But at the moment, we're now going to go over for the full classified check, and I'm going to get myself prepped up for the full classified check from England, Wales, Scotland and Northern Ireland from this afternoon. So anybody from the lower leagues, let's see how your team did today with the full classified check. And that check begins as always with the Premier League. Bournemouth 0, Manchester City 1. Brighton 1, Huddersfield Town 0. Burnley 1, Crystal Palace 3. Manchester United 3, Southampton 2. Tottenham 1, Arsenal 1. West Ham United against Newcastle is an evening kick-off. And Wolverhampton Wanderers 2, Cardiff City 0. Into the Championship now, the Sky Bet Championship. Aston Villa 4, Derby County 0. Brentford 3, QPR 0. Hull City 2, Birmingham 0. Ipswich 1, Reading 2. Millwall 1, Norwich City 3. Preston 1, Bristol City 1. Rotherham United 3, Blackburn Rovers 2. Stoke City 2, Nottingham Forest 0. Swansea City 2, Bolton Wanderers 0. And Wigan Athletic 0, Middlesbrough 0. Sky Bet League 1 now. Accrington Stanley 0, Coventry City 1. Bristol Rovers 4, Blackpool 0. Burton Albion 0, Walsall 0. Doncaster Rovers 1, Charlton Athletic 1. Fleetwood Town 1, Gillingham 1. Luton 2, Rochdale 0. Oxford United 2, Scunthorpe 1. Peterborough 4, Wycombe Wanderers 2. Portsmouth 5, Bradford City 1. Shrewsbury 0, AFC Wimbledon 0. Southend United 0, Barnsley 3. And Sunderland 2, Plymouth Argyle 0. Into the Sky Bet League 2 now. Bury 3, Macclesfield 0. Crewe 0, Northampton Town 2. Exeter City 0, Tranmere Rovers 1. Forest Green Rovers 1, Lincoln City 2. Grimsby 0, Cambridge United 2. Mansfield Town 4, Cheltenham Town 2. MK Dons 1, Crawley Town 0. Newport 2, Carlisle 0. Notts County 0, Port Vale 0. Oldham Athletic 1, Stevenage 1. Swindon Town 3, Colchester United 0. And Yeovil Town 3, Morecambe 2. And now to the Vanarama National League. AFC File 2, Maidenhead United 1. Aldershot Town 0, Gateshead 2. Barnet 3, Barrow 1. Bromley 0, Boreham Wood 2. Dover Athletic 3, Braintree Town 0. Eastleigh 0, Halifax Town 1. Ebbsfleet United 0, Salford City 1. Harrogate Town 1, Dagenham and Redbridge 1. Havant and Waterlooville 1, Leyton Orient 2. Solihull Moors against Maidstone United is an evening kick-off. Sutton United 2, Hartlepool United 2. And Wrexham 1, Chesterfield 0. And now into Scotland with the Ladbrokes Premiership 2 games. Kilmarnock 0, Motherwell 0. And St Mirren 1, Livingston 0. Ladbrokes Championship 1 game. Dunfermline 1, Queen of the South 0. Now Ladbrokes League 1. Airdrie 1, Montrose 0. Dumbarton 2, Arbroath 0. Forfar Athletic 3, East Fife 0. Stenhousemuir 1, Brecon City 1. And Stranraer 2, Raith Rovers 2. League 2. Albion Rovers 1, Berwick Rangers 1. Annan Athletic 2, Queen's Park 1. Clyde 1, Edinburgh City 0. Cowdenbeath 1, Stirling Albion 2. And Peterhead 1, Elgin City 0. Now the JD Welsh Cup. Bala Town 0, Cardiff MU 1 after extra time. Barry Town against Carmarthen and Claddock Vale is an evening kick-off. And Llandudno 1, the New Saints 8. And finally the Tennis Irish Cup. Crusaders 3, Ballymena 0. Dungannon Swiss 1, Ballymellard 1. Extra time now being played. And finally Warren Point 3, Larne Technical Old Boys 1. And finally the Danske Bank Premiership. Glenarvan 0, Cliftonville 2. And so the Premier League table, that's after the full classified. So Manchester City now top by 2 points, but Liverpool could go a point ahead if they win in the Merseyside derby tomorrow. Spurs stay third despite drawing against Arsenal today. They move up to 57 points, Arsenal. Manchester United stay go up to 4th, having won that topsy-turvy game with Southampton this afternoon. Wolves stay 7th, they're 3 points clear of Watford, who play tomorrow, having beaten Cardiff comfortably 2-0. Chelsea stays 6th, they play tomorrow in the West London derby against Fulham. Everton will play tomorrow, they stay 9th. West Ham, who kick off in a few moments' time, are 10th. At the wrong end of the table, Burnley have dropped to 16th place, but thankfully Southampton, but the teams below them, Southampton and Cardiff, both lost. Brighton struck a late victory over Huddersfield Town. Thank you very much, Huddersfield, for doing us that favour. We'll do the same for you sometime. Fulham play tomorrow in the West London derby, having sacked Claudio Ranieri. Crystal Palace have now moved to 33 points. Newcastle on 31. Leicester City, I think, should be okay. But Burnley, right, hovering around. And the annoying thing is Newcastle and Brighton have played a game less than what we've played as well, which doesn't bode very well at all. So that's a disappointment at the moment. Let's have a look at what's been happening in the Skybet Championship. We've had some drama in that one, in that league as well, and in that battle between battle at the top between Leeds and Norwich has been a real feature, and Sheffield United as well. You can't count them out. So Norwich now take a 2-point lead from Leeds United, who were top at the start of play, having won the previous night again 2-1. Norwich move up to 69 points, and Leeds move up to are still on 67 points, having played last night. Sheffield United have yet to play. They could certainly close the gap. In fact, they could go second with a win in their match later on. West Brom stay in 4th place on 60 points. Then come Middlesbrough on 58, and Bristol City another further 4 points down on 54, occupying that final playoff spot. They actually got a draw today against Preston. Derby's loss at Villa puts them in 3 points behind. Birmingham Forest and Hull all have 50 points, and Villa now coming up on the rails along with Preston North End. Both have 48 points each and surely will avoid relegation from the Championship next season. It looked a bit dodgy at some point, 1 point for Preston, but they put a decent little run together. At the wrong end of the table, it is looking very bleak for Ipswich Town. They are now a massive 12 points from safety. They have 21 points from 35 games. Then second bottom come Bolton Wanderers with 26 points from 35. It's looking bleak for both sides. Certainly Bolton on and off the pitch as well. Reading still are out of the bottom three because they've got a better goal difference. They did win today, Reading. Rotherham beat one as well, so they're still 11 points, but Rotherham still in the bottom three, unfortunately, because of an inferior goal difference compared to Reading. Millwall then a third point ahead of those two on 34. Wigan then 36. QPR, Blackburn absolutely through falling to my delight. If they don't put their ideas up, they could end up in a relegation scrap. Sheffield Wednesday and Swansea 47 points, should sit comfortably in mid-table at this moment in time, so great to see that happening. League One, Luton and Barnsley 75 and 70 points. Sunderland creeping up in the Wells, along with Portsmouth for a free falling. Charlton and Doncaster Rovers are doing pretty well. At the wrong end of the table, I'm worrying for Accrington and Stanley now. Another defeat today, 1-0, puts them in big trouble here because they're in a clutch of clubs. They're still in mid-table, conceivably in 14th place, and they are punching above their weight. Maybe did they peak at the start of the season too soon? They need another 9 points to stay in the division, which would be a miracle for them. They do have a 4-point cushion on Bristol Rovers, who could climb out. Could be tough though for Wimbledon and for Bradford City. Bradford City especially, a decent run club. Rochdale also in big danger, but Walsall just above that drop line, along with Oxford and Gillingham and Shrewsbury as well. Into League Two, looking clear. 3 points the gap now between Lincoln City and Bury. Lincoln have 69 points, so Danny Gowy's team going really well at the moment. Great guns. Bury in second place on 66 points from 35. Then come Mansfield Town in that third automatic spot. They've taken that away from NK Dons, who have dropped into the playoffs on 62 points. Then come Exeter on 55 points, and Tranmere Rovers having a decent first year back in the Football League. They're on 55 points as well. And then come Forest Green Rovers just in there on goal difference ahead of Colchester, Carlisle, Swindon, Stevenage and Cup specialist Newport County, who should be safe now from being relegated. So well done to Mike Flynn's side. They should have enough to stave off relegation. At the wrong end of the table, let's see how it's affected things at the bottom end of that table. Macclesfield and Notts County are 4 and 5 points above from safety. Morecambe lost today, but they are for a 5-point gap. They're in 21st. Port Vale 4 points from safe, 4 points above that drop zone. But Macclesfield Town and Notts County are in desperate trouble. Notts County and Macclesfield failing to win, and it's looking very bleak. Can Sol Campbell pull off the great escape? It's going to be hard from now on in, I believe, at that point. Oldham probably will need a good run to get themselves back into the playoff hunt. They should be okay. I think Paul Scholes probably could do with a pre-season, but at the top of the National League, Wrexham are 5 points ahead of Leyton Orient, who are moving into second place. Solihull Moors will kick off later on, seeing if they can close the gap on Wrexham. And then come Fylde, a big win there for Salford City today. They've got 60 points. They're in 5th place with 60 points from 35. Then come Gateshead and Eastleigh in the playoffs. Harrogate Town you can't count out at this stage of the season getting in the playoffs. Sutton United are there too. They're having a good run too. Anybody in the top 12 could still get in those playoffs. It's going to be nick and tough in that league from now to the end of the season. At the wrong end, it's looking very bad for Dover Athletic. Have that 3-point cushion above the bottom, the dreaded drop line, and then come Haverden, Waterlooville, Aldershot, Maidstone, and Braintree. What a bad day! Well, Aldershot Town were a Football League club not so long ago. Now they could be on the verge of being relegated, and Chesterfield are not out of the woods yet. Neither are Barnet. All these decent teams that used to be in around the lower ebbs of the Football League are in danger of going into the Conference North even. Celtic and Rangers didn't play today, but Celtic have an 8-point gap on Rangers after the same amount of games. They have 66 points compared to Rangers' 58 points. Aberdeen are 8 points further back on 15, third place. Then come Kilmarnock on 47. They're starting to fade away slightly. Then Hearts on 44 points. Burnley completing the top 6 with 41 points. Then comes St Johnstone, Motherwell on 37. St Johnstone have 38 points, by the way. So St Johnstone 7th, Motherwell 8th, Livingston 9th. Hamilton Academicals now 3 points clear of that relegation playoff place, which is now held by Dundee. Hamilton have 21 points compared to Dundee's 18, and St Mirren are 1 point from that 11th spot with 17 points there. So that brings you up to date with all the league tables, and we're just coming up to about a quarter past 5 in the evening. There is a 5:30 kickoff, which we're not covering actually, amazingly, this afternoon. We will get reaction from around the country as well as from managers and all that, and we're going to hear now from Riyad Mahrez after Manchester City's victory over Bournemouth this afternoon.
Easy, but I think we did a very good first half. Then second half he was good as well, but the most important for us was to avoid the chances for them, the counter, and to try to score. That's what we did, and we're happy. We take it.
Did you feel you always had to be patient when they defend like they do today?
Yeah, we have to be very patient because we know we're gonna always create chances. So just be patient, move the ball quickly, and then one moment we're gonna have some space and we're gonna score.
Did you feel there was always a danger though for Bournemouth when you didn't get that second goal? Would you have liked the other?
Of course, it's always like this when you play away and you win just by one goal. You're always thinking that they can come back, but we defend very good. They didn't have too many chances, to be honest. So yeah, it was a perfect game for us.
Perfect game indeed for Riyad Mahrez and for Manchester City, but they have had some bad news that Kevin De Bruyne got stretched off with an injury. Let's hope it's nothing too serious for Kevin, but it really just put the frighteners on Liverpool now, who have to kick off at Goodison Park around about 24 hours time, knowing that they need to win that game against Everton, who have just had a great resurgence by winning by 3-0 in midweek against Cardiff. So another big result there as well. So we're just waiting to hear from elsewhere in the management spectrum before we convene. And yeah, it's been a tough day for Burnley as the crowds have dispersed now from the turf. 3-1 it's finished between Burnley and Crystal Palace to Crystal Palace. It was a bit of a smash and grab raid. Burnley didn't really do themselves justice really in the final third. Let themselves down a bit defensively, but I felt the referee was appalling, and really, really appalling on the day. Even Kevin, a Crystal Palace fan, will say that. And my mate Kevin, a Crystal Palace fan, a real regular of ours on the JB Claret channel, will tell you that. We're just waiting for more reaction. Let's hope we can hear from Sean Dyche as well in a few moments' time. We're just waiting at the moment to try and. It's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer now after Manchester United did us a big favour by beating our relegation rebels Southampton by 3-2.
To beat us, open, and we should have been 1 or 2 up in the first five minutes. To be fair, I thought we started really well. Then they settled down. And they scored on the first 2 strikes. I have to say the 2 goals were unbelievable strikes by the boys. But I thought my team we did fantastic. The boys did great second half.
How pleased are you with the character of the side to come back from being behind and then to find that late winner right at the end?
The belief is there, the belief, because they've gone so long now without losing games. here back in England, and the belief is there, and they're raring to go, wanting to get on the ball. Confidence is high, and of course the two finishes from Rome, class finishes, and then I'm so pleased for Andreas that he got his goal.
Well, there we are. That's the way it finished there. So we're just waiting to get some more reaction there, but you can watch all the action if you missed it elsewhere on Match of the Day on BBC One in the UK at 10:30, I believe, this evening. I don't know if you get Match of the Day over in New Zealand, Kevin, but if you do, I'd watch it if I was you. I don't know how. Do you get? I want to ask Kevin a question if he's still on. Do you get Match of the Day over in New Zealand? I'd like to know if you still get Match of the Day. That's a good question to pose, that, isn't it? Be interesting, that is for certain. But yeah, as I say, we're still waiting for some more manager reaction. Hopefully we'll hear from Sean Dyche at this before 5:30. I hope we can hear from Sean Dyche at some point. We're going to hear from Mauricio Pochettino after Spurs drew 1-1 in the early kick-off against Arsenal.
Against Arsenal, I'm happy because after two defeats, to take a positive result again, to build our confidence, to go to Tuesday to Dortmund and try to go through to the next stage, to the Champions League.
Does it feel like a bit of a defeat? I think it's not good result because maybe we can't win about our chances on the game, and above all the last penalty for us. But I am very proud of them.
Yeah, first half we were disappointed with how we played. We created a few chances, but not clinical enough at the cross or the final ball for our liking. And I think the second half for us was just about fighting for the team, fighting for the club. You know, we've been through a tough spell, and I thought we did that. Everyone was pressing and high tempo, and we got the goal I thought we deserved. And then of course towards the end of the game it went a bit crazy, and thankfully Hugo saved one for us. So all in all, a draw is probably a fair result.
Yeah, draw there. Also Unai Emery and Harry Kane speaking as well. So let's get some more manager reaction. I don't know if we're going to get some more manager reaction just yet, but they're just checking out the Championship at the moment. So we're hoping to hear from Sean Dyche at some point this afternoon. I'm hoping that we can hear from Sean, because I really would like to know what his take on this defeat. And it is a bit of a bad defeat, and the only reason we're staying where we are and 5 points clear of the drop zone is because of other results going for us. And I think that has to be noted, because if you look at the way the league is at the moment, we could have actually moved. If we'd have won today, I think we could have moved to 33 points, and that would have put us something like 8 points clear. So that's another winnable game that's really fallen by the wayside for us in terms of what's happened here tonight. So yeah, disappointment really all round on them particular aspects, and it's very disappointing, if truth be told, because I felt that Burnley had the capabilities and the wherewithal to get the 3 points that were needed, but it wasn't to be. So we're just waiting on any more Premier League managers. We're just rounded up leagues 1 and 2 at the moment on the television, but so hopefully we'll get some more Premier League managers. Hopefully we'll hear from Sean before 5:30 this evening. But it's looking really, really bad for Burnley at the moment in terms of results, and we've got to go to Liverpool next week as well. So who knows what might happen? Who knows? We might even go to Liverpool and win. Who knows? It's very hard to tell from Burnley from 1 week to the next, isn't it? There's a Scottish Cup quarter-final game taking place at the moment against Hibernian and Celtic. There was Scottish Cup action, but there wasn't anything taking place at 3 o'clock. But Hibernian against Celtic, and real opportunity there for Neil Lennon to get one on his former clubs. Currently 0-0 at the moment. They've been playing now for something like 8 minutes, and that could be a decent tie there. And wasn't it written there, wasn't it, for Neil Lennon to go back to his old stomping ground on his return, as Celtic's new manager. Right, here's Nuno, the Wolves manager, Nuno Espirito Santo, speaking of the Wolves' brilliant win over Cardiff.
Stress in the box, but we defend well the set pieces. We defend well these situations, and I think we'll be able to counter-attack. And I wish we could do more in that part of the pitch.
We are a bit disappointed by the end that it was only 2-0 because there were further chances second half. Their goalkeeper made some very good saves to keep it down.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think Cardiff unbalanced themselves with this direct game, and we had superiorities 3v1, 3v2 sometimes, and we should do better. We should do better because 2-0 is not a comfortable result ever, especially against Cardiff because they are so tough and they keep believing, keep getting corners, keep getting these throw-ins, and you're always afraid that something can happen and change the reality of the game.
No, he's not happy with the performance there. He reckons it could have been more than 2, but well, I'm just pleased that they came out the right side of the result. I'm just waiting. Hopefully we can hear from Sean Dyche in a second or two, because I really would love to get his reaction this evening on the result here this afternoon. 3-1 as the crowds, it's quite an empty and dank and darkish now Turf Moor. Disappointment. It really is a disappointing day, really. I felt Burnley there should have had 3 points today. They played really well in the first half, and you're going back to that decision not to allow Dwight McNeil to play advantage early on in the piece. It seems like a long time ago now, but it just begs the question, really, why was the advantage not played at that particular time? It just absolutely boggles the mind, but that's the way it goes, and unfortunately in football it's you takes your money, it takes your choice, and unfortunately the referee, I thought it was a disgrace today. I heard it was a despicable excuse of a referee. I just felt that Lee Probert should have been a lot better than what he was, and I feel that a referee of his calibre should be refereeing with a great deal more fairness about them. We're going to get some more manager reaction, and it's Pep Guardiola after City's win takes them top.
They are incredibly organised and players in this stadium, so we didn't concede one shot on target. We defend so well all the aspects, the throw-ins, the free kicks, the corners. We create enough chances with the people can understand how difficult it is to attack. 11 players there, and we did it incredible. So every movement with one sense, so delight. So just can say thank you to the players because they are absolutely incredible what they have done in the last 3 months, and we played 25 games in 93 days. It means every 3 days and a little bit more a game, and that's why sometimes happen when Kevin happens. So physiologic, it's impossible to recover. We demand a lot for the players when the body is not already recovered for the last effort, and that's why it's incredible what they have done so far, and it doesn't matter what happened at the end of the season. These players deserve all my admiration.
So that's Pep Guardiola after his team have won by 3-1, and let's hear from Romelu Lukaku it is after Manchester United's win over Southampton.
We have to be happy. We created a lot of chances, especially in the first half, in the first 10 minutes where we could have scored a few goals, but in the end we reacted really well on the situations, and we won the game. That's the most important thing.
2 goals for you. Will you be having a word with Paul now about that penalty? That would have been your hat-trick, of course.
No, I mean, yeah, I'm a striker, I had my 2 goals, and I wanted Paul to score, He's on a good run, and, top players like that, you need to keep their confidence high. And I wanted him to score, and, he was unlucky, but I think it's been so important for us that he will bounce back. He has a lot of character, so I believe in him, and he's going to bounce back soon.
Thank you, by the way, for all.
So that's Romelu Lukaku there. I'm not sure we're going to get Sean Dyche again. Annoyingly, if we rely on these interviews from BBC Final Score, and if they can't get Sean Dyche on time for 5:30, I find that annoying when we can't hear from Sean Dyche. Because I want to hear from him at the moment. I don't think we're going to hear from him, I'm afraid. So there we are. We're not even going to hear from Roy Hodgson, to Kevin's disappointment. But that's it for me, I'm afraid. We've run out of time, I'm afraid, and You know, I just want to thank the BBC for being so blatantly ignorant, for not giving giving Sean Dyche a bit of airtime. I'm so annoyed that they've done that, but there we go. It's been an annoying day all round if you're a Burnley fan. It's got to be said. It's been a disappointment. 3-1. I mean, Barnes scored and made the scoreline look better than what it looked. I mean, it was never a 3-1 match, if truth be told. I look at it and I believe that there were some aspects of the game where I felt the referee got stuff wrong and things like that, and coupled with results going. The only result that really went against us was Brighton's result. There were two notable ones that went for us today. Thank God they did go for us, because if Southampton had won, they'd have gone above us, and if Cardiff had won, they would have probably closed the gap, and it would have been a lot dodgy with Liverpool on the horizon next weekend. Oh my word, that would have been dodgy. I mean, as it stands, we're still 5 points above that drop zone. So, I mean, only it's not lost, but it is a massive disappointment this evening as we the clock ticks now around to about half past, is it 5 now? Yeah, 5:30 now. I'm hoping they'll come back on BBC. If they don't, I'll be very, very annoyed, because I want to hear from Sean Dyche. I really do want to hear reaction from today's match. Hopefully they will, because I want to come off the air pretty soon as possible, but if they don't, I'll be very, very annoyed, because I just really want to know what happened in today's match. I want to know the manager's point of view. I want to hear Sean Dyche's point of view, and it is a frustration when the BBC don't do that. And we're still waiting. I doubt we're going to get anything else from that, but I'm hoping that we can hear from Sean Dyche today before we leave you. It's now 5:30 in the evening, and Turf Moor is done, still silent. Everyone's gone home. It's been a difficult day really for Burnley. I felt that this was a game that we needed to take 3 points from. I felt this was a game that should have been winnable, because Palace really struggled against the 10-man Manchester United side on Wednesday night. We had the extra day's rest, so I felt that we should have done a lot better. But unfortunately that wasn't the way it went, and we are trying to get reaction from today's game, but unfortunately we are struggling at the moment, and BBC aren't helping. I think they've ended the stream, quite frankly. Hopefully there's a facility there we can play Sean Dyche's interview. Andy Carroll is not playing against West Ham today, Newcastle today. So I'm just hoping that hopefully we'll just see if we've got any reactions from Sean Dyche at all. We do have some reaction from Crystal Palace. Let's hear from their manager. But I'm still waiting on Sean Dyche. Is Sean Dyche going to come out? Well, BBC have not done anything, so it doesn't look as if I'm not going to play Roy Hodgson's interview either, out of fairness. I'm sure you'll hear Sean Dyche at some point. It's really disheartening when they can't get Sean Dyche's interview out before 5:30. It's disgraceful. But it's been a bad day for Burnley, I'm afraid. I'm going to end the stream right here. The Clarets game live. It was billed as a 6-pointer. We needed to win it with Liverpool next week. We didn't win it. We were probably cheated in the first half, really, by the key incidents. Once again, before I go, in the first half we absolutely battered them. First half, Burnley battered Palace, denied a clear advantage. Even though Cork was taken out, McNeil was certainly through on goal. Referee pulled the play back, which was wrong, and I feel that was the wrong decision at the wrong time in the game. and that was a frustration, no doubt about that. Also the first goal had an element of luck. That's still going on at the moment. Let's see if we've got any reaction. It doesn't look as if they've had any interviews either off that one, but it wasn't an excellent away win, I'm afraid. Although Burnley didn't help themselves. Own goal from Barnsley put Palace a goal up on the balance of play. It was barely deserved. In the second half, Burnley didn't start it too well. Wan-Bissaka given the freedom of the right hand side, and that was it really. 2-0, and then the third to add insult from Will Sahar. Barnes pulled one back, but that was that as far as the game was concerned, and Burnley lose out. I'm going to go now. From me, JB, have a terrific night. Bad day for Burnley, beaten 3-1 today by Palace. Good night.